Josh Pate gets his feelers hurt over blowback to his post-spring top 20 rankings. The ACC and Big 12, with support from Notre Dame, throw their weight around concerning auto bids in what will apparently be a 16-team college football playoff starting in 2026. And Nick Saban appears to be squirming out of his co-chair appointment to President Donald Trump's Commission on College Sports, saying that plenty of people know how to fix it and just need to come together and do it. Rise and shine college football coming at you. Good morning, and welcome back to Rise and Shine College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment. Hall of Fame college football. Welcome back to the show. Our Big Monday co-host and other days, Big Mike Boganowski. What's up, big dog?
What up?
It's looking nice out there. It's good weather and shit.
Yeah, dude, it's not bad, man. I was on the lake this morning trying to catch a couple fish, but they didn't cooperate. But
nice.
Came home and I got the boogeyman back downstairs in my podcast studio. So I lost that AO, and then so I just grabbed my computer and went out here on the deck, bro.
Hey man, it's a nice little background. Doesn't look bad. I like it. I like it. Welcome to the show, everybody. Ghost to Cal Gundy, Brandon Snake, Sooners for Life. Neilio, what's up, my guy? What are y'all up to this morning? Hey, sorry about this week, man. It's been a long ass week. We'll just leave it at that. But hadn't been around since Monday, so glad to be back. We're gonna get into some talk today about, well, as I said, Josh Pate got a little. He was in his feelers last night, man. Little upset, about the flack that he took for his top 20 post-spring rankings. Which
bro, he knew it was coming, bro. Like, what is he talking about? Like, get out of your feelings. You preface that whole rant by "I don't do lists," right? And here's why. And then you do a list, and people roast you. And, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hey guys, you know what I mean? I'm here all the time. I don't really know what to tell you. If I got roasted, I got roasted, but sometimes shit happens. Sometimes shit happens. And so I'm not gonna apologize. Shit is what it is. It is what it is, man. Yeah, it's a little different, man. I got a little trigger happy with the damn Clippers the other day and just had to go low. It was getting a little scratchy, so I had to kind of mess with it a little bit, but
We got to put that beard oil in there, bro. Keep it
I've been doing all that, man. It was something weird about it. It was just I wasn't really feeling it. I just was gonna trim it a little bit, but those guards weren't working right.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It is what it is. It'll be back. You think it's looking good without the wild squirrel on the chin. Okay. Well, appreciate it. Welcome to the show, everybody. But yeah. Well, yeah. You gotta have a life first, brother. Gotta have a life. No, listen, I mean, he did know it was coming. I mean, shit, after the flack that I got for mine, the one that I threw out there, shit. Of course it was just from clown ass Texas fans, so who gives a shit? But it went pretty viral as far as Twitter goes. It's the most views I've gotten on a post for Twitter. It's like 200,000.
Yeah, man. I usually think Pate's pretty level headed.
He was in his feels last night, bro.
But Oklahoma at 10, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. What is?
All right.
But
Okay.
like, if you know you're gonna, if you're like, you're talking about post spring, because
Yeah.
his post spring, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't even usually do rankings. He has his power rating. You know what I mean? That he has his little computer deal or whatever. Whatever, man. But that's not even the only thing he was bitching about. He was bitchy about a lot of stuff. So they were giving him shit about the stuff about Michigan, you know, that he's backtracking on it and he's saying he's not. And, you know, he was defensive, on the defensive. It was actually kind of funny. It's kind of funny to watch. You know, y'all see the Sooner commit that happened on the field, not behind the table with a hat. Yeah. Listen, I think Cody Stovall from Locked On Okie Light will be in here with us to, we may or may not talk about that any, you know, he's pounding that, they're pounding that chest down up in Stillwater about, you know, how they're well ahead of us in recruiting right now with more recruits and a lower average player rating, but you know, it is what it is. But you know,
The thing is that recruit that Jandro,
yeah.
like that's a twofer, bro. Like you can, that's a twofer. You get one, you get the other. You
Well, you
know.
know about the linebacker one as well, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. We got the linebacker one the other night. Yeah.
Oh, last night they
Yeah.
had.
Last
Yeah,
night.
it's a big. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. I mean, he's 4-star stud.
Well, he's
You
a
know,
baller now. Me and Marcus watched his highlight film on Huddle last night.
I was
Watch.
watching it too. God, bro, the dude could play. The
Yeah, he's
dude could
good.
play. Yeah. Listen, and I even think that the safety kid that they had. I mean, he's a hitter. I don't know what he does as far as um his coverage and stuff like that, but it seems like he's a hitter. Pretty loaded in the safety position. So I mean, that's kind of a. But like you said, that's a brothers deal. You're going to get 2 for 1 on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like that. You know, that's what it was looking like. You
Yeah.
know, in the end, yeah, Cody, there goes your good mood. You can be in a good mood. Just give him shit. It's okay. It's always good. But I mean, mostly we're not going to be talking too much about recruiting as well. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, but it was, you know, I found it funny that overall with Pate, you know, there was a few different things that he got into, you know, obviously, let me pull up that list here that I was messing with, but I had to restart before I got going. Obviously, they're getting into talking a little bit about this Saban stuff with him. He was backing off that commission appointment a little bit, quite a bit, actually, backpedaling like a safety, you know, taking that 3-step drop, you know, or that, you know, taking a good gander.
Bro,
Doesn't look like he really wants much to do with that shit.
yeah, he took all kind of heat because everybody was like, "Bro, you're gonna be the one. You're gonna be the one to lead this commission." Come on, bro. It's like everybody knows what he did, but he thinks that nobody knows that he was paying. Like, that's ridiculous, bro. Have some self awareness. And you want to open that can of worms, by all means. And here's the deal: don't go bitching and crying to the president about it, because I don't know if you've been paying attention the
He's
last
already
100 days,
he did that
but
with what's
dude,
his name too, right before that.
listen though, I don't know if, like, Mr. Saban, Coach Saban, I don't know if you've been paying attention the last 100 days, but the president is going hard in the paint. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
like,
there's
don't
other
come to him
shit
with
going
a
on for
problem.
sure in the country.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
come to him with a problem. He's gonna solve it. That's what he does. That's what he's doing. So don't come to all the college football. Like, oh, they got college football. I can make that happen for you. Boom, boom, boom. And then all of a sudden, like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I didn't think you was like really gonna try to help. Like, I'm not the guy. I've been paying players under the table for years. Like, get somebody else. Like, fuck. What a dummy, bro. What
Right.
a dummy. That was dumb.
Well, and that's the thing. It's so disingenuous. And I know that I'm gonna get all the Alabama fans that like me hating me right now. But stop being so disingenuous about this shit. Acting like that, you know, that you didn't benefit off of even the stuff that he's talked about and what he talked about with Feinbaum. You know, well, first of all, I don't know a lot about the commission. Secondly, I'm not sure we really need one. I think a lot of people know exactly what the issues are in college football and exactly what we need to do to fix them. I think the key to the drill is getting people together so we can move it forward. Now, I have to agree with the last part. Plenty of people know what the issues are, but he ain't telling you what the issues are at all. Plenty of people do know what the issues are and exactly what needs to be done, but he went on later on in that interview and he was talking about, well, I don't think we want to go to collective bargaining. Well, you know what? That's the key to the issues. And I'm sick and tired of hearing about pay for play. That's what it is, and that's what it should be.
Yeah. He's like, this is my problem, right? Like Saban is part of the old guard, right? And Shardy kind of hit it right there. He's part of the old guard, right? He's the dude that wants to get everything off the backs of players and not give them shit. But then you make millions, and
Yeah, it's
it's
okay for you to fucking
you
leave
know
whenever you
we're
feel
not
like
we're
it.
that shit's old. That shit's dead and gone, bro. You better move on. You better adapt and change, or you're gonna get left behind. And dude, it's time to leave him behind. Just have your little time, make your picks on game day, and shut the
Wave your
fuck up.
little hat up there and
Yeah,
do your little fucking dance on the stage with McAfee and call it a day. You are
yeah, yeah.
now the new Scooter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, come on, man. Like, chill. Yeah, Neely, I didn't go to Goddard earlier in the week. Cam, my youngest one, had some stuff, and I'll be in Goddard this weekend though, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean,
Yeah, he's a control freak for sure,
the
bro.
collective bargaining is what it's going to take to fixing this. This is the thing. Nobody wants to do that. I heard them bringing up the Deloitte, uh, that bullshit stuff that they were talking about with that Deloitte deal. You are not going to be able to do anything with NIL. You can't. That is, I don't give a shit. And here's the thing: who's to say that shit would be on the up and up either? The clearinghouse thing. Come on. But
Yeah,
the absolute second that they shut down somebody's NIL deal, it goes right back to court.
yeah,
So if you want to get these antitrust exemptions, in order to do that, you're going to have to let these players start helping you make the rules, collectively bargaining them. That's the only way. We've been talking about this for freaking months. It's nothing new. But they don't want to do it. He made that clear. So what exactly? I mean, he keeps on saying we know exactly what to do. Well, what the fuck is it that you know what to do? You keep saying shit like that, but the only thing you've really said is that it's about greed. Oh, it's about greed. It's
yeah,
definitely about greed. It's about university, conference, NCAA greed.
yeah,
Coaches can get up and fucking leave whenever they feel like it. They can make as much money as they want to. Nobody told Nick Saban that he had to, only make so much for his little stupid Aflac commercials.
yeah. Yeah, I ain't trying to hear Saban, bro. Yeah, I ain't trying. I ain't
It,
trying to hear Saban until college game day.
yep, yep. Yeah, he excelled in under table bag gaming, of course, and quit as soon as it is now legal. Well, look, think about it. He was one of the guys that was bitching and complaining as much as possible about NIL not being used as an enticement, an inducement.
Shit,
The hell was that?
that was the gate I had up on my deck so my dog doesn't run around. That shit fell. Scared the shit out of me.
It scared the shit out of me too.
Stand by.
She just got it popped. So you're getting shot at out there. But I mean, guys, there's no way you can't do it, man. Just can't do it. The idea that it's about these players and them being greedy. Don't get me wrong. There's some players that they don't always necessarily work for the greater good of the sport, but why the hell would you expect them to at this point? Why the hell would you expect them to at this point? And the other thing that they're bringing up now is that, and you know what? I know Oklahoma's in the SEC. I'm happy about Oklahoma being in the SEC. I think that the SEC is the best league in the country. But here's the deal. I've already told you guys I don't love automatic bids. I don't like auto seeding even. The idea of doing 4-4 and 2-2 is bullshit. And I'm glad that the ACC said, fuck you. And apparently Notre Dame is in on it too, saying no. At least you should start at 3 for the ACC and the Big 12. If this is what we're going to do, it all sounds stupid anyway, but if it takes hearing that if you think it sounds dumb for the Big 12 and the ACC to have 3 auto bids, then how dumb does it sound for the SEC to have 4 and the Big 10 to have 4? I know you're the best conferences. I get it. It doesn't mean you should get any preferential treatment. Go year by year. And I would tell you that I think more times than not, you're probably going to get more like 5. 4 will happen almost every year. And in those certain years that you don't, look, all you have to really fix is going and make sure that strength of schedule matters. If strength of schedule actually starts to matter, then you should get your teams in all the time. And that'll actually spur on non-conference games that are worth the shit. Instead of Matt Rule being a little so-and-so and not wanting to fucking play nobody. Why should I do that? Because you're Nebraska, dog. That's why. Because you're Nebraska. That's what you're supposed to do.
He don't want to be Nebraska. He don't want to be Nebraska until he's Nebraska, right?
That's gonna fucking happen with him.
If you want to,
when you're being a bitch, you don't even want to go and ball out.
That was a bar right there, bro. He don't want to be Nebraska until he's Nebraska.
That was a bar. Throw it down, bro. Throw it down.
Bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like, don't like, don't bypass, big time teams until you feel like you're ready to play those big time teams, bro. Stop ducking. Stop ducking, Rule.
Yeah, it's whack. It's baby cry shit too, anyways. Oh, looky here who we got. We
Big
got
Big Papa Pump 2.7.
Yeah, he's got with his alopecia face going on in here. What's up there, big dog? Welcome.
How dare you open the show by talking about a sensitive subject and my alopecia of the face?
Listen, man, I was trimming my shit up and got a little crazy with the clippers the other day. So
I feel like I'm back in Army days where I have to shave every day and I can't flip and stand. I wish life had a profile. But if that was the case, I would look like a mangy animal. So I got to shave now. It sucks.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. You look like a mangy animal anyway.
Well, that might be part of the allure that I have on the show is people.
True. It could be.
Well, I revert back to like the Shane Gillis thing. I feel like part of Shane Gillis's popularity is he supports the special needs community. I might be part of that community, therefore I appreciate the love and the invitation.
Well, welcome to the show, Cody Stovall, Locked On Okie Light.
That is not the name of the show at all.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If you try to go find Locked On Okie Light, you're going to be searching for a hot minute.
I figured they'll find it. I think I've hashtagged it a few times.
Well, but thank you for trying to give me a spin-off title for my next job. I appreciate that.
Why not? Your next job? Shit, they ain't getting rid of you there. You're like the star of the show around there.
I wouldn't go that far.
You got your boy Drake saying some weird shit lately. I don't know. I don't even know where he's coming from.
Yeah, you know what, man? I will admit that there's some things about this industry when it comes to like SEO and things of that nature that I don't necessarily understand or agree with. But I don't know. That's not my cup of taters.
Yeah, I know. Hey, listen, you got to kind of have to do it for sure. What's up there, Duke, Silver, Sooners for life, Benji, Ryman Lemon, David Moyer.
Legitimately, though, congratulations on Ja'Cory Smith. That dude is a bad mother trucker.
Yes, he is indeed. We're excited about him, but let's get back into this conversation we were having. I don't want to get into
Okay.
recruiting talk with you because we're ending up yelling at each other. And it don't even matter. What were you thinking? I mean, we were just talking about Saban backing off the whole Trump commission thing on college football, saying he didn't know that it needs to happen. The thing is I was just telling Boganowski and everybody in here, I feel like this is just another way all they really have to do, collective bargain, and we don't have a problem anymore.
I think he should
do an NIL deal that covers a couple of years, and you could hold them to it there. They don't want to do that either. They like being able to kick them a year at a time if they want.
I think the proposition of the commission is an absolute necessity, right? Because we all know that there's going to be backdoor deals. So if every school in the country spends this $20.5 million on athletics, it is not going to prevent teams like Alabama, like Texas A&M, like Miami to still continue to do the backdoor deals. So just like the NCAA, they got kind of wrapped up in what's the word I'm looking for? I guess politics to some degree, right? Because there's some things that the NCAA does that literally makes absolutely no sense. So there needs to be an additional third party governing body, in my personal opinion. And I think Nick Saban nailed a lot of things. Like the NIL should be less convoluted. It should be less gray area. There should be more regulations, more restrictions, and it should be very, very visible.
Hold on, though.
Dude, I don't think the NIL is very convoluted at all. It's pretty simple. It's pay for play.
Yeah, it's all pay for play, though.
What I mean by
this idea that we don't want it to be pay for, like it's such a bad word to call it that. Fucking why?
The reason I say it's convoluted,
they get screwed for decades, and now we just don't want to play. Don't want to pay them.
Well, again, yes, it's pay for play, but the convoluted portion of it is the fact that there's still likely these deals being done outside of the agreements that you can't keep track of.
Well, I don't think that's ever good. But here's the thing. If you look at what this is and they're wanting to turn it into NFL light anyway, you can't mess with anybody's endorsement deals at the next level. You're not going to be – and guess what? The Deloitte thing, it ain't going to cut it either because what they're trying to do is get away from all these lawsuits. I guarantee you the first time they nix an NIL deal, that goes straight to court. Immediately.
Yeah. Yep.
And what have we seen from the courts? They have sided with the players on everything when it comes to NIL or transferring or any of that other shit, because transferring due to NIL, because it allows you to make what you can make. You cannot limit what they can make in NIL. You can't do it. Now, does that open it up for shady dealings? Of course. But it's always been that way. If you are looking for fair, that's where they go judge pigs, bro. We know this. They judge pigs at the fair.
How dare you besmirch Arkansas that way? That is rude of you, sir.
I was talking about a county fair, brother.
Right. You're not taking Arkansas digs. I get it.
Not taking Arkansas digs. I don't care about them. I mean, I don't really think about them that much. We don't have to play them yet. So, but here's the thing, and I get it as far as if you're the Big 12 and you're the ACC, you're trying to limit because you're already behind in the money department and what you can spend anyway. Now, and you have to come up with the 20. This is where right now you're seeing some parity. When the NIL comes along with the rev share, I agree that it's going to make it harder for the Big 12 and the ACC to compete because now, the $20.5 million, that's the cost of getting into the dance. You haven't even bought a beer yet.
Well, and there's going to be a significant number of teams that cannot spend that. That's just there's been conversations, not just the Big 12, but there's going to be some teams across the country that can only afford to spend $18 million, right?
Absolutely. No, I get it.
I would say the biggest question to me is why would Nick Saban start backtracking? Like, who got to Nick Saban and asked him to chill the hell out?
That would
and
be
why?
the SEC, I would think.
There you go. Yes, yep.
That would be Sankey being like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Shut up. Yeah. You're not here anymore.
Put a horse head out on Saban's door, man. He had a old Sankey
The old horse head was out there. Yeah. He went to go open up the tarp on his boat, man, and found a freaking son of a bitch. The rest of the horses right there, gross. You know, yeah, no good.
And here I thought this was going to be a debatable conversation, but that was quick.
Dude,
That was,
so what
I mean,
I
look,
think
the truth
has
is
to
the truth
happen
is the truth. Shit.
for people for schools, to really compete, right? Some of these schools that are going to have trouble is they're going to have to get a solid like marketing strategy base and hit that and make NIL what it originally was supposed to be, right? Where
yeah.
kids are getting commercials, kids are, players. But
Yep.
that's easier said than done because not everybody wants to, have, the third string offensive tackle, you know, want to hear him do a thing for Raising Cane's or Chick-fil-A or something. You know what I mean? Like everybody, who the
Sure,
hell's this guy? You know what I
sure.
mean? So that's the challenge. Like, yeah, your quarterback, your running back, your big receiver is too easy, right? But the average player, how do you get them NIL through advertising and marketing? That's where where
Yeah,
schools are gonna make their money.
of course. But here's the thing, though. You've seen, and I think I would tend to agree with what he's saying about every state being different. That breeds, you know, that kind of tends to breed, screwing around. You're going to have certain, I mean, look, Missouri was like one of the first that they started paying high school kids and shit.
Yeah.
Not the first, actually, that was Tennessee. But, again, we're sitting here bitching about Nico and all that kind of shit. But the truth is, Tennessee taught him to do business that way.
You nailed it, bro. I mean, he pretty openly went to Tennessee because they were the highest bidder coming out of high school.
Yeah.
So
And
you're right.
that was a rule at the time that you couldn't use it as an inducement. And they did anyways. And then whenever they were going to get hammered by the NCAA, they sued.
Yep.
Now they're bitching and complaining, and everybody's giving, oh, thank God for Tennessee. They're bringing some, they just saved the whole world. No, they didn't. They just bitched out.
I mean, to me, it's the same thing as the 16-team playoff concept. I think we can all agree that if that were to become a thing, it would be primarily because of the Lane Kiffins of the world bitching and moaning 24/7 about how they should have been in and this and that and the other. So the SEC gets 4, the Big Ten gets 4, the ACC and Big 12 get 2. Those 3 remaining automatic qualifiers are likely going to go to the Ole Misses of the world.
Probably. Here's what's going to happen, though. What we're just finding out, or found out, that the ACC really balking at that whole the 2 qualifiers and saying, hey, we got to start at least 3.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree, but at the same time, it's the lay of the land. The SEC have owned the national championship landscape for 15 years. The Big Ten's won it the last 2 years. So when it comes to relevancy, unfortunately, the ACC and the Big 12 are not in that same conversation. I think Arizona State, if they would have finished that game and beat Texas, maybe this conversation changes a little bit. If TCU doesn't get their head drugged around like a redheaded stepchild in the national title game, maybe the conversation is different. But the Big 12 and the ACC, I hate to admit it, but we don't deserve 3 or 4 at the moment.
Hold on, though. You got it. But here's what I think. Rhett Lashley made a strong point when he was talking about, look, if you were to go back on like the NCAA tournament, what'd you have? SEC had 14 teams or some shit in it last year, right?
Yep.
If you're going by the last 5 years, you would have had maybe 5, 6.
In basketball?
Yeah. In hoop.
Yeah, I agree.
If we're just going to look at history because of it and thinking about NIL, they've got money to spend. So now all of a sudden the SEC's a power.
Okay, but you're not wrong. But even with all of that, they still were outperformed by the Big 12 in the NCAA tournament. So the more teams they got in ended up being just a mirage anyways.
Well, it looks like if you lose early or whatever it is, I mean, you got all those teams. They're not all the best in the SEC. The point is, though, they still got them all in there, and they would have never done that if you were just going on the past history of what's going on. So, I mean, to some extent, I have to agree with what Lashley was saying is like, look, we got to start looking at it in terms of what it looks like today, because it doesn't look like it did 5 years ago. It don't look like it did 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. And I'm not saying that the SEC and the Big Ten aren't better. I believe that at least at the top, for sure, the Big Ten at the top is. The SEC, I feel like top to bottom is probably still the strongest. But the point is, you still got to go out there and win on the field, though. And you have to go out there and do your thing. And I mean, the SEC they only got 3. That's what they're really bitchy about. But if I'm the ACC and the Big 12 right now, I am holding them to, okay, well, we're going to do straight seeding then this year because we can. And no, we're not going to fix this little seeding debacle that you don't like because fuck y'all. And I think that it's better to go to 6 seed if you're going to bump up anyway. It gives you the opportunity for sure if you're the Big 12, the ACC, to get more teams. But I would hold to the 3 if I was y'all. I would.
I think we've got to do something significant before we have
Well, there you go. This is true.
enough cachet, right? I just feel like now if the Big 12 wins a national title this upcoming season and then has another team appear in the national title the following season, then I think that we have enough cachet to have this conversation shifted a little bit. But I'm actually in the opposite end of the spectrum. I mean, I am on the spectrum, but what I mean is I would prefer us to go back down to like 8 teams. When we were talking about things being convoluted earlier, this is becoming more political than the BCS, right? The reason that the BCS was taken out of the equation was because there was the computer element that could be manipulated by humans, and the CFP is supposed.
I think the computers were it was cleaner.
It almost feels that, I mean, obviously there was some purposeful manipulation of the statistics in the quote unquote computers. But if you could get rid of the politics behind the algorithmic benefits of other teams, I think that the BCS was actually a better model.
I do too. I think that you could make them kind of work together. Use some form of the computers. Here's the one thing that you got to make sure
the irony of that is it's supposed to be more genuine, right? It's supposed to go off of individual voting. But those voters don't watch the games, right? They tried before the national championship. Remember, they had that group of them like sipping wine and watching. Get the flip out of here. When they're at home, they're not watching anything other than the marquee games, right? They watch Ohio State, Michigan. They watch the Red River. They watch Bama versus Auburn.
I don't think they watch that much. That might have been their only time watching college football, just for the photo op.
Just that weekend.
Yes, exactly. I would imagine that 90% of that committee did not watch a single Arizona State game all year until the Big 12 title game.
I mean, I don't know. I agree.
It should be a requirement. If you're going to have voting, you should be engaged. You should be involved. You should be having evidentiary proof of you actually being a college football fan that watches what's going on. I don't understand how these people can vote, yet we know they don't watch 90% of the games. To me, that is more problematic than anything that was manipulated in the BCS system.
Well, and on top of that, then you've got athletic directors of teams that are, like vying for spots and shit that are in charge of shit. And it just doesn't look, it's just bad. It's a bad look all the way. Now, it went from Alliance to BCS to the initial 4 team and now the status quo. It's always going to change. Now, here's the one thing and here's what I was getting at. For all this bitching and complaining about what it is and how terrible college football is, why are they making more money all the time? It's not that fucking bad. I think that you just have a bunch of whiny ass people that are complaining. Now, don't get me wrong. They never intended this to be fair. It was never supposed to be fair. You know it. I know it. We all know it.
Yep.
But the point is, and just like what Shawty said above, they have to have more games to generate the money to share with the players and that's still, the greed is coming in. They keep talking about, I keep hearing the word greed.
Yeah.
But the greed is not I'm not putting that on players. Of course, there's some greedy players. There's a few that are. But here's the thing, Cody, and I've been saying this a lot. Why do it's always the player saying he's going into the portal? Why do you think that is? Well, I'll tell you why. Because they would rather look greedy than look like they suck. because we all know that a lot of times these coaches, they're the year after year scholarship, it changes every year. They're being told to get in the portal all the time. If they think they can get a better player, they're telling them go get in the portal. Now, they're not going to announce it that they're telling you to go get in the portal, because then it looks bad on the coaches and the schools. They're not going to do that. And then the players are not going to say, yeah, they told me to go get in the portal, because then that looks like, hey, we suck. They want to go play somewhere else.
Yep.
So again, all this narrative shit, it's all bullshit is what it amounts to. Because the truth is, if they wanted to, they could get away from the year after year scholarship thing or whatever you want. You could sign a 2 or 3 year deal if you want to.
Well, I
They
think
don't want to. They don't.
I'm interested in Boganowski's take on this, but I think that is yet another reason why the commission or something comparable is a big deal, just to have some more monetary boundaries put on this, because we don't know what's going on. And you're 100% right? You know what I do with Oklahoma State players, and there are tons of them that entered the portal because they were told to, or because they were kind of
guys that went into the portal at Oklahoma. About 25 of them were told to get out.
That's and you're right. The players can't really go out and say that because it's a bad look, and the coaches aren't going to say that because it makes them look somewhat weak. And you got to look at it from a post-spring perspective. If you're like Oklahoma State, we gave Garrett Rangel tons of QB1 snaps. We gave Justin Kirkland tons and tons of starting nose tackle snaps, and they're gone. So it would be kind of beneficial if there was less politics. But I've said this before. If you want to follow college football now, unfortunately, you got to understand the politics of it, because it's more important than the actual
You got to read
quality.
tea leaves, man. You got to read tea leaves, right? And they don't want you to know the politics. Like,
Exactly.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't want you to know their inner workings. So trust me, bro. I try my hardest to figure it out, but I'm still on the outside looking in, and I got a kid that's involved in it. But you got to read tea leaves, man. You got to compare notes. You got to talk to other people and try to get a best understanding of how it operates. It's as far as kids going in the portal and the schools telling them. I think that's the best way to operate. Both sides save face. You know what I mean? The university doesn't look like assholes by processing, and the players, makes it look like it was his decision. But I mean, you see, you read the underlines, right? You see what
Sure.
it really is, but it's for social media.
You think they wanted Jackson to come back and compete with Mateer? Because we know better.
It's all social media, bro. They want to save face on social media and save face with the schools and let everybody know that, hey, it was my decision. I want to go play somewhere. I mean, you're pretty much telling on yourself, like, hey, I'm not good enough to play here because I want to go play somewhere. Like, you're pretty much telling on yourself. We just choose not to view it that way because on social media, it is what it is. But not everybody's, and I get it, man. Not everybody's gonna be a starter. Not everybody's gonna get minutes. You know what I mean? So. And I'm all for these kids like bumping down a level and getting some clock and playing football, because football's fun, man. You should want to play it. Go make a little money if you can. Get your school paid for and play some football and be ready for the workforce. There's nothing wrong with that. And kids got to realize that, man. There's nothing wrong with it. Just because you see Shadur and you see all these guys on the damn things and all their money and making money and millions and all that stuff, that's not everybody.
That's the same as the NFL, though, if you think about it. The
But
average NFL guy doesn't have a bunch of fucking endorsements either.
Yeah.
Bro, did you just say shit door, or did I hear that wrong?
Shadur.
If you said shit dur, I'm all
call him
That's
shit.
pretty legit.
He did not.
I'm mad I didn't think of that. Damn it.
The most egregious thing that has happened with Shadur is the stupid Ring of Honor. Like, how are you going to be in the Hall of Fame Ring of Honor in the stadium after 2 years of playing there and not? That was absolutely crazy to me. The entitlement there is
go ahead,
wild.
defend that, Jason. Defend it.
I'm not defending that one. I didn't defend it. No. I thought it was weird.
It ain't weird.
I thought it was a joke. I thought it was like
opened up. It opened their noses, and I think it hurt his draft stock. To be honest with you,
thank you. That's what I was getting at. Agreed. Yes,
I think it hurt his draft stock. I think that kind of stuff right there is what ended up keeping him from going in the first round or even second, whatever. You know what I mean? Because he's at worst a second round player.
Second or third round. I think I thought he was going to go third round to the Steelers. I really, really did, and I was surprised.
Look, man, we can go through all that too, but I'm just saying, in the end, what was going on?
I didn't mean to derail the situation. Conversation. I thought he said shit door, and I was like, I got to use that. That is too good.
No, that's shit. I didn't think of that.
Now, Shotty, real quick. You think you put in the NIL deal for your new quarterback that he can't transfer for 2 years? I'll tell you that shit ain't. It's not anything. It don't matter what you put in. We know what happened with that Wisconsin kid. They had just put it in a quote contract for his NIL that he couldn't leave, and he fucking left. And they couldn't do shit about it.
I think Shody's dead on, but at the same point in time, there has to be ramifications. Just like you mentioned, the Wisconsin kid's like, okay, fine. I'm just going to enroll at a different school and not take a particular scholarship because it's, you know what I mean? The workarounds are absolutely insane. And without the governing body maintaining this stuff, it's going to keep being this way. Because the NCAA is the most worthless, feckless, spineless institution we have in the country right now.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And that's the whole problem, is that you can't sit there and I don't want to hear about the players being shitty. You know what? We'll know who's at fault when you get collective bargaining. You have to collectively bargain this stuff. And until you do, they're never going to allow, they're going to keep siding with the players, and they should keep siding with the players. They should. Look, I know that everybody wants to root for the name on the front. Without the name on the back, the name on the front don't mean shit.
Shody, what are the consequences, bro? Drop that in the comment. What are the consequences if he leaves? The only consequences that probably would try to be incurred upon him is a paying back of money.
Maybe a buyout, yeah.
But
they don't have any rule. They have no way to enforce this rule or that contract because it's not a real contract.
Yeah. It's so weird, man. The stuff it's the gray areas and you know the verbiage.
The transfer portal ain't even a real thing after what we saw from the Wisconsin deal.
Yeah,
he didn't go in the portal. He just fucking dropped out of class and ended up in Miami.
You read some of these contracts, like you read the contracts, dude. Like it seems official as hell, but we know it's not. And there's outs all through that contract.
Well, look at the deal with Stoney. Not to bring up a sore subject for Oklahoma fans, but fuck, the deal was done in December, and we months later here we are.
Well, from what I've gathered, and I don't know about Oklahoma State, but I do know there's at least one team in the Big 12 that is doing the I-9 deal, right? So it's essentially a 1-year contract that you're going to be a contractor on behalf of the university. I think that might become more nationalized.
Who's doing this?
Houston.
They
were having as soon as the law passed or the NCAA allegation, or not allegation, I'm talking about the legal side of things. I can't think of the word, but when that got passed in January, Houston had started having players sign I-9s then.
Yeah. Well, but that's still a 1 year at a time deal.
Correct. That's all I was getting at was I believe
but something like that gives the schools, the coaching staff, everybody, it gives them the opportunity to still boot your ass right out of there after 1 year. Yeah, so and here's the thing. If the players may want that too. I don't know that they should want that, but because the grand majority of them shouldn't want that, the largest group of them, but the higher end ones are going to be like, yeah, fuck that. You're going to have to pay my ass every year. Right. If you're a 5-star kid and you're a baller, or you're not a 5-star kid and you ball out. Oh no, I want to renegotiate now.
And the only reason I say that is because if something comparable to an I-9 becomes fairly commonplace, I think most of these athletes will be essentially on 1-year deals all across the country.
Well, it already is like that. Yeah, it is like that.
Well, I mean, you're right.
The problem. That's the problem, though, is that
they're going to have a problem with that contract, though, come July, right? They're gonna if that house stuff passed, they're gonna have a problem with that money, in how they're gonna manage it with the NIL and revenue share. That's why I was surprised, to hear people are doing multi-year contracts, with this new, rev share thing that's supposed to happen in July. It's gonna be weird. I'm anxious to see how all that stuff plays
that's
out.
when you start seeing that it's going to go back to the big money programs are going to get the biggest advantage because, I mean, we know that like they've been talking about Texas. Yeah. On top of the 20 million for rev share, which this is everybody in the SEC, they're doing another 25?
Yeah.
We haven't even talked about the most outrageous shit that's about to happen with the NCAA, right? Like they're going to start scrutinizing this NIL money, and it has to be like, you're getting paid a fair amount for what you're doing and stuff like that. Like that's going to be wild.
That'll never work.
I don't think they can. Work. I don't think they can.
That's what they're trying to. That's what they're going to do.
I know they are. Hey, listen, they try to do stupid shit all the time.
It's so funny to me. Like I want to see like the first school that gets knocked for like, oh, this kid did a commercial and got $500,000. That ain't worth it. And you're gonna be like, what? Like, what are you talking about?
It's worth whatever the fuck they'll pay you. It's worth whatever they'll pay you.
You're not wrong, but the NCAA has proven time and time again to not really have enough teeth to monitor this stuff, which is yet another reason why I think a commission is
Michigan.
important.
Yeah, they're not going to get Michigan that much. That's poor old Josh Pate, man. He was taking it on the fucking chin last night over that Michigan deal and his top 20. That was great. He was squirming that ass off. He was madder than fuck. Didn't like it at all.
I'm not to watch that. I didn't.
Yeah, I missed that too.
Hey man, he had that bottom lip was up over that nose, brother. He was not happy.
What was he stressing about?
What was that, bro?
He got well. First off, his top 20 was getting panned, and he went to great lengths to explain why he ranked them the way he wanted, the way he did, which I thought was kind of funny because he could have been like, I don't give a shit what you think. You know what I mean? Like, this is why I do a power ranking. And they hammer him on that power rating shit all the time, too. All the time, right?
Well, so what's the deal? Did he rate Michigan too high or something?
He had Oklahoma 10th and Florida 9th. And so everybody's like, what the fuck? Because the highest you've seen either of them really is like around 15 or anything like that anywhere else.
I think you guys are good enough to be in that range.
It's not either here nor there. I
think y'all's schedule is wild.
And maybe it could be, but there's reasons to believe that they could win these games. I don't think that there's a game they can't win. I think that they're not going to win them all because I don't think anybody's going undefeated in the SEC. I just don't.
Well, I as of now, the plan is I will be at the OU Auburn game, so I'm excited.
Nice.
I'm excited to see that. I haven't been to a game at OU since like 98-ish.
Oh, what's up there, Corporate Duck, T Boomer, Ryan C. Who else we got in here? Newbies. Christopher Shannon.
Any relation to Howard the Duck?
Yes, it's his second cousin on his mother's side. Second cousin on his mother's side. You already told me that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. At some point, look, I guess now, Ryan, don't come in here like counting pockets and shit, bro, because that's when we start talking shit. You can't decide. We don't need to worry about spending the fucking money of these athletic departments. They got money. Let them get paid. Let them get paid. And they've been screwing these kids for decades. And and mind you, they still kind of are. The shit that they pulled with Stoney, the shit that they did to another couple of players too. And I get it. You have to balance some kind of a budget, no matter how much money you think you have or whatever. But Oklahoma isn't Texas or A&M or Notre Dame, But the point is, you still have to. I felt like they went a little quick with Jim Nagy, kind of pulling the. There was a few things you're like, you got, like with Stoney, I thought it was wild that the expectation for him was to be Jaden Jackson year one, when you haven't had a first year starting defensive tackle since Tommy Harris.
Dude, it's just it's almost physically impossible, right? To be those type of dudes.
I hate Howard. He's a Texas fan.
And you've heard my take on this before, right? You've heard my take on how it's easier for guys on the outside, corners, receivers, to come in and have impacts in freshmen. And that's why it's so outrageous to me. And I can't wrap my head around how Jaden Jackson did what he did starting in the SEC. Like, it blows my mind how ready that dude was.
Man, they can fucking hand fight and they got mass to him, bro.
Blows my mind, bro. I don't even care. Like, if he's, the poly pipeline Samoan, but dude, there's dudes that are got 3 to 4 years of for real workouts with high level, physical trainers. And this dude rolls right into
he started like Dominic Williams, who was a freshman All-American.
Yeah, watch me work, bro. Like, this shit blows my mind. It doesn't even make sense because I know what it's like to be on the D line. That's where I played. And I realized, and I think back on my freshman year, how little and weak and unprepared I was out there. You know what I mean? And for this dude to be in the SEC and out there taking on double teams and not getting moved off a spot blows my mind. It's
wild, dude. There's no way around it. It's wild.
He is a freak, like freakazoid, like not even a freak. He is a past freak. You know what I mean? Super, like Rick James, super freak type shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing, though, as far as floor is concerned and ceiling, Stoney's got a higher ceiling because of just the athlete that he is, right? I think that he's probably got a higher athletic ceiling. He's bigger as far as the twitch, all that other stuff, but he wasn't as
well. They'll have him as a three tech. That's more of a
little different, right? Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, like when you're lined up on the nose, you're gonna eat double teams all day long. But
right.
Yeah, Stoney's
going to be a stud.
He's going to make some plays.
They needed to pump the brakes a little there. And what we know that really boiled down to misunderstanding. It was kind of, they cut back on the initial money, like the upfront money. But if he hits his escalators, which don't sound like they're going to be that hard to hit because of DeJoun Terry not being there anymore, he's going to get those snaps. He should get all of that and make 1.5 or whatever it is, right? Ryan, I get what you're talking about. Players coming in, collecting a check. But here's the thing about that. If you don't give them the money, then you don't get them coming in. It's because somebody around the country is going to trust their recruiting ranking or whatever, and whether it's their recruiting ranking or their, identifying that player that they know that he's worth what he's worth. You either go and spend the money or you don't.
This was brought up on a show I watched yesterday, and I won't mention his name because somebody on here is going to get up in his panties in a bunch.
You can bring up whoever you want.
But my guy Parker made a great point yesterday.
Your guy Parker, fuck Parker.
That's my guy. See what I tell you?
You nailed it. You did. You called it.
I did it because you said that shit. I knew that's what you were about to say.
Yeah. And I set your ass up. Thanks for proving my point.
Yeah.
Shout out to my guy Parker.
Hey man, at least I'm real about it.
Here's the point.
Jason tried to be neutral for like 0.7 seconds, and he was like, "Wait, no."
Jason didn't try to be neutral. I knew it was coming, so I did it because he said that shit.
No, hell no. Got him.
Go ahead.
But here's the point. Here's the point. Like let's talk about the big tackle, right? That just went to Miami, Cantwell, right? Let's say, for instance, they gave him $2 million, right? Would you rather have that one tackle, top of the class, $2 million player, or maybe spread that over 4 or 5, players and get like 4 4 stars? You see what I'm saying? Maybe 5 4 stars with your team. It's just all about how you want to
There's only
allocate money.
32 five
Like,
stars though, so there's not a huge
that's what I'm
difference in
saying
that
though. But
pay.
you might be able to sprinkle in a 5 star and a couple 4 stars for that $2 million that you blew on the number one player in the class. It's all about what team needs and how much money you got, and how you want to start trying to build your roster. Me personally,
It also
I'm
depends
trying to
on
get
who,
more for
who's
my
the
money.
guy. Who is it? A quarterback? Is it a D lineman that you
That's what
don't
I'm saying.
have? What is it?
Maybe you get a D lineman, a safety, a quarterback. You know what I mean? Like you can get maybe a good receiver. You come on, man. I'm trying to go for more. I'm trying to get the bang for my buck. But
Well, but
like
here's
2
the thing.
million.
You can say that, and I get it. But here's the deal. This is an arms race. You can't fucking do that.
But
You have
that's
to
what I'm
look at
saying.
Unless
the other guys.
unless you
That-
model it
That's what,
after NFL
an,
free agency.
an
And I
arms
think
race.
I think that's sensible.
It is an arms
I'm
race.
trying to buy more. Then if it's an arms race, I'm trying to buy more. I'm trying to buy more weapons.
Maybe a more powerful weapon.
But yeah, you want. I mean, if you're gonna
Depends
look
on
at it
who the
like
guy is.
that,
I mean, look,
if
I
you're
think
paying, you have that dude. That Cantwell kid has to be
he's
a
generally
not.
not a consensus number one guy anyway.
Yeah, he can't. He can't. He has to be a not can't miss type of dude. Like he has to come in and start playing right
Fuck
away
that. Yeah,
because
I agree.
your salary cap and all that $2 million is getting eat up to not play. I just can't. I can't imagine that. Like he's probably playing no matter if he's ready or not, just because he's getting paid that much.
Dude, that's what I was about to say. The downside to what you're saying is,
Yes,
and we've seen this, is oftentimes, players that get NIL are forced to play even though they're underperforming. And that's an issue, I think, as well, because you're
Jack
alienating
Arnold.
the players that have busted their tail the most, and you're rewarding players not based off of merit, not based off of skill and talent, but primarily off of monetary evaluations. And to me, that's absolutely crazy. You can look no further than Oklahoma State's last year. We had a handful of players that were being forced to start, even though they were getting absolutely destroyed because of NIL dollars, or at least that's the speculative reason. Because on film, some of those dudes, like you could clearly see miss, error, walking on the field, jogging on the field, but they kept getting rewarded, and it has to be for a reason. And I would assume that it was because of NIL. Some players are getting paid,
Well,
therefore
look
they
at
have to
Jackson
play.
Arnold. He was pissing down his leg the entire year last year. And aside from those 2 games, he played.
There you go. Yeah. Yep. That's the downside to me on NIL is if you do come up with the money, it does lower a little bit of their incentives to continue to do what got them there. You know what I mean? Like some guys were weight room dudes, they were film junkies, and then they start getting paid, and then they're going to start anyways. I feel like there's some complacency that happens because of NIL.
100%. They say I can't remember what boxer said it. It's hard to get up and train when you're sleeping in silk sheets
Well,
and
Yeah.
when you make it
yes,
to the
dude.
top, it's
Even
hard to get
Dana
up
White,
and eat
when
a
Dana
dog.
White talks about Conor McGregor, like
Yeah.
he says he lives on a Lamborghini yacht that goes anywhere he wants, so he just takes his boat to the warmest place in the country and just floats on that part of the ocean for months. Why would he go back to training and getting his ass whooped when he
Yeah.
already has all of the things that he financially ever wanted?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Christ, nobody
more
blocked
often
you
than
or you
not,
wouldn't
guys,
fucking be here now.
you and I both know this. Most of these players, probably 75% of them, are going to make more in college NIL than they will in the NFL.
Yeah. Hey, so
Most of
let
them aren't
me
going to go to the NFL, even
That's what I'm
even the best ones. Yeah. So it's like you can't. It's hard to say don't get all the money you can get now because most of them aren't going to make it to the NFL.
before I gotta go run some errands here. I'm backed up on a crunch. So now if I got a second here. So my guy, my little second cousin, he played on the high school team of Zane Flores, right?
Yeah.
What's the deal, man? Is he how's he looking? I haven't heard much from him. What's the word on him down there?
The upside is so high that we're gonna play him. We got rid of the two quarterbacks that had experience, that had snaps, and Garrett Rangel and Malawake Smith, because of the upside. He's 6'3", 215 pounds, runs a 4.54. You know the drill. He was
Yeah.
Mr. Nebraska, Gatorade Player of the Year,
Yeah.
threw for like 9,500 yards.
Yeah.
He also rushed for 1,000 or so yards. I think the objective this season is going to be more of a dual threat situation.
Yeah.
Because you got Haas Haney, who runs a 10,600 meter, a sub 4.40. You have to utilize him as a weapon. And then you have a Zane Flores that just has so much upside. You're going to be willing to deal with some of the inconsistencies occasionally.
So how many years of eligibility does he have remaining? Has any been used up? He's got 3.
Yeah.
So he redshirted and then burned one last year.
And got a medical. Yep.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Zane Flores.
Oh, this is year 3 for him, right?
Yep.
Quarterback
up from Gretna, Nebraska.
Yeah,
so in the spring, the quarterback 1 snaps were primarily Garrett Rangel and Haas Haney, but obviously neither one of them won the job comfortably enough. So they decided that they're going to go with the upside of Zane. Is he as polished as Malawake and Garrett? No. Does he understand the offense as well? No. But when he does things right, he looks like a next level prospect.
You're gonna get. It's kind of what I heard somebody talking about, like the difference between Dylan Gabriel and Dante Moore. It's like, okay, well, Dylan isn't gonna make the mistakes that Dante might make, but Dante can make plays that Dylan will never make.
That's it. That's 100% it. Garrett Rangel was doing enough to manage the offense, but as a staff, they obviously sat back and said, okay, well, this quarterback's good enough to win us 7 or 8 games, but this quarterback might be good enough to win us 10. And I think that's what they went with. Instead of going with the game manager, they went with the guy that has the highest upside.
Yeah.
Like Haas Haney was going to be in packages no matter what. Just because of his speed.
Name, huh? What a name!
I know, bro. And he had packages at TCU. Like Josh Hoover arguably had the best season in the Big 12 this previous year next to Sam Levitt. Yet they still found ways to get Haas Haney on the field just because athletically he's a freak. He's stronger, bigger, and faster than Spencer Sanders.
Big ass arm, bro. Big ass arm.
He does have a live arm. But
my little cousin, my little second cousin, his name's Tyson. He was the reason that the state of Nebraska ruled for like the first time in history to make Gretna vacate the state title because he didn't have the proper paperwork because he had moved to Gretna and the school that he left filed the complaint and saying, no, he still lives here, Well, he had to spot out in Gretna, and sounds like the school didn't file the proper paperwork, and the state of Nebraska made him vacate that. Which everybody in the whole damn metro area is going to schools out their district. You know what I mean? It was crazy.
The recruiting shit's been going on for a while.
Yeah. It's crazy. It was crazy. He's the reason, man, that they had to vacate that state title.
So to my knowledge, the only thing holding Zane back is his propensity to have difficulty with audibles. That's something that Oklahoma State's doing different than I don't think we've ever had an offense where everything was conducted at the line of scrimmage. You know what I mean? Like an NFL model where you have a play, but then the quarterback has the availability to call audibles and shifts and move protections. That's the only thing that's holding up Zane. When he learns to operate the turbo packages and call audibles and read the defense and make the adjustments and shifts, obviously the upside is still high.
A lot of guys are better at getting reps than they are of learning it by watching too.
And that's what Oklahoma State has decided, right? We're going to roll with this 2 quarterback method with
who gives a shit if he makes mistakes, let him make them.
Yes. Yep.
You know? Because if he's got the more upside, that's where I would be at. Yeah, that's wild.
I think that's what I gathered. Garrett Rangel was the best at just running the offense as a whole.
Well, I liked Garrett. And he never really got his opportunity, it didn't feel like anyway.
He didn't. He didn't, and I'm very happy for him going to Virginia Tech. Obviously, they got Kyson Drones this season.
They needed somebody that could throw the football. So
They got my guy Danny Kalen. Danny Kalen he went to Virginia. Never mind. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but Rangel can at least throw it. I mean, they haven't had a guy that could throw the football since probably Michael Vick. So I mean,
they had Taylor, Tyrod Taylor. Is that his name?
He wasn't the greatest thrower in the world either.
Yeah, he was Vick-esque.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think since Tyrod Taylor, they haven't had a quarterback of note.
Yeah.
And then realistically, right outside of Spencer Sanders, we really haven't had a top tier quarterback since Mason.
Yeah, I'm
Spencer had his
looking forward to watching Zane see what he does, man. Like that's gonna be
Well, I tell you what, I'm most excited about Zane is, and a lot of people don't realize this. Last season, we had 2 running backs go down in spring, right? So he actually played running back for Oklahoma State in the spring and coming into the fall. He was legitimately RB3, and he was actually pretty good at it. So if he can translate that at the quarterback position, it's going to be an exciting time. But Jason, you nailed it. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to have some difficulties at times running certain packages.
Caleb Williams wasn't perfect either.
But the upside is so high that we decided we're just going to deal with it. And then obviously Haas Haney is going to be a factor. Yeah. Haas Haney might be the fastest quarterback in the Big 12.
Yeah. He's a stud too, man.
All right, well, let's say I haven't heard of that. I haven't heard of him, but if you say that, we need to get an Avery Johnson race then.
Yes, that would be a good one. That would be a really good one.
That would be a good one. And then even like, man, I don't know.
Avery Johnson, man. I've seen him. Avery Johnson's.
Haas Haney won a couple state titles in the state of Texas.
As a sprinter? Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, and that's ridiculous shit. If you're winning state championships in Texas as a sprinter, I've covered the state track meet in Texas in Austin before. It's insane. These dudes are breaking national records and shit a lot. A lot. It's wild. Especially the higher up they're playing at. But yeah, man.
Yeah, I think if I were to have a comp, honestly, I think Haas Haney's got a little Baker Mayfield in him.
Huh.
It's just the offense is new. And it's being conducted in a way that we've never done.
What is the offense? So what kind of offense are they going to be running?
It's going to be a mixture of air raid and RPO, from what I've gathered. So we're gonna take a lot of deep shots. We're going to take a lot of deep shots, and we're probably going to have a couple quarterbacks rush for 500-600 yards.
Okay.
Well, and the quarterback we got in the portal, he's a mobile quarterback. So all 3 quarterbacks are run-first quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It's just it is what it is. So the offense, it's going to be and you're 100% right. The days of the Mason Rudolph, Brandon Whedon statue quarterbacks, they're kind of dying. If you don't have a mobile quarterback
even
nowadays,
your pocket quarterbacks aren't pocket quarterbacks like that.
Right.
Well, I couldn't believe they brought that cat back for another year.
Yeah.
Who?
Bowman.
Oh, bro.
Oh, do not get me. Do not get me.
It was the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, Mike Gundy's fascination with Alan Bowman needs to be studied. That is
terrible, man. He got away. If it wasn't for Ollie Gordon putting that team on his back that year.
Dude, there's been a handful of players that I had NIL deals with, or they've been on the show that have since transferred, and every single one of them has said that Garrett Rangel won that job.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't understand the fascination.
I got to tell you, I thought that Gunner was the best one out of the 3 of them.
Well, I would say that both Gunner and Garrett never really got a fair opportunity in Stillwater. Yeah.
That was weird too. I don't know why you would. If you're Gundy, why aren't you playing your kid? It's usually like you shouldn't be playing this kid. He sucks. Right. And when he's good enough, you don't play him. What the fuck?
Well, ironically enough, and I think other than my biggest argument with Gundy is the fact that he's lost like 7 Big 12 title games. That's very problematic for me. But outside of that, his inability to pick the right quarterback is absolutely mind-blowing. Right? People tend to forget. Like, you can go back. Brandon Whedon was not a starter. Mason Rudolph was not the starter. Taylor Cornelius was not the starter. At one point in time, Zach Robinson, not the starter. So his choosing of QB1 has been an absolute atrocious nightmare. His entire
How many years you got left? How many years you got left?
Gundy?
Yeah.
I believe the plan is another 3 to 5. And that'll be contingent upon success. Right? Let's not get it twisted.
Also maybe contingent upon this governor becoming the president of the school, right?
Well,
his ass
to my
out
knowledge,
no matter fucking what.
Yeah, dude, the Board of Regents is a conversational piece that we could talk about for an entire hour. But I'm trying not to get my blood pressure rising too much. But yeah, dude, I think if we win, Mike Gundy will stick around for 5 years. If we continue to slide downward, he won't last more than 3.
Praying for L's this year.
I don't know, bro. Okay. So I'm glad you said this. Here's why this year is different. Yeah. Todd Grantham is the head coach of the defense. Mike Gundy has zero say over the defense. Todd Grantham, and you can see this in recruiting. Oklahoma State has never, ever, 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 ever recruited this way because we were always told by Mike Gundy that it's really hard to recruit to Stillwater. Yet you get an NFL and SEC defensive coordinator in, and he's out there getting SEC level dudes like it's nothing. So for the last 20 years, this new staff is proving we could have been a top 20 recruiting team.
Think about this. Yes, and this why do you think he's always done that? Because
I do know. I know exactly why.
The expectations of beating Oklahoma every year are not there. He's been able to slide by with not winning conference championships or rivalry games.
I think externally you're not wrong, but internally the biggest issue was, and I had the benefit of actually doing some recruiting for Oklahoma State, and I've helped a few guys get scholarships in Stillwater. And
yes,
the biggest difference between recruiting now and then is the checklist, right? I've had this discussion. There's a checklist of
getting out there and making and taking a shot at it. I mean, Danny was
part of the checklist is like, do their parents have a good marriage? Have they been together for a long time? Have they held jobs that make a significant amount of money? Like, we recruited quarterbacks that didn't need NIL on purpose because they were already financially so set that it wasn't going to be much of a conversation. So we were checking boxes on character as opposed to athletic prowess. So if a kid ran a 4.2 40, was 6 foot, 190 pounds with 15 interceptions, but he transferred 3 schools and got arrested for breaking curfew, we weren't going to touch him. This new staff, and I've heard verbatim, we are recruiting dogs. We used to recruit puppy dogs that we hoped would turn into dogs. Now we recruit legitimate dogs, regardless of some extracurricular activities. That's the difference. We're recruiting guys that are a little quote-unquote rough around the edges because they're that flipping good. And we used to avoid those guys. Like, I'm telling you, if somebody like I don't know if we had a 4-star linebacker that was getting recruited. He ended up at another Big 12 school, right? Not going to throw shade. He was phenomenal. But after the game was over, he was flipping off some of the parents in the stands. He was yelling at his coach. He was trying to start fights. So he was a phenomenal athlete, definitely the best player at this event. But he had so many issues that I had to tell one of the OSU coaches, I personally think that you should explore this. And yeah, we didn't end up getting the guy, but I think a lot of it was because of the extracurricular stuff. Now, you do have to do investigations to manage that, but Oklahoma State has been burned. We've only got a handful of 5-stars ever, and none of them have stayed at Oklahoma State longer than 3 years. And usually it was because of gang violence and other things of that nature. So Mike Gundy decided almost a decade ago, I'm done recruiting top-tier guys because they always burn me. So he didn't recruit them. This new staff doesn't give 13 shits about what Gundy had in the past, problematic-wise. They're recruiting the dudes that are the best players that they think can come to Stillwater.
They're trying to get a fucking job. They're probably trying to keep the job because we know that, I mean, they certainly took away his grand power. He doesn't really have a ton of it. They made him redo his deal. They called his little bluff.
Yep. They shaved $15 million off of his buyout.
Yeah, man. And now it's no longer that revolving. You're going to make this for the next. Yeah, dude. He's
it's a pure
dead
3-year
man walking if he doesn't do some shit now.
Say what?
He's dead man walking if he don't win now.
Oh, if he has another 3-win season, I would say the writing's on the wall.
Listen, man, look, if you're that, I can see where that Board of Regents, whatever, even if it's just a few of them, they've got to be saying, look, no more Texas, no more OU, no more excuses for this shit.
Right. No, you're not wrong. There's people in the Board of Regents that clearly have some animosity with Mike Gundy.
No, and they should. I mean, look, you know how I feel about it, but I'm just saying. But to me, though, and I think there's other coaches out there in the country that are like really fucking good. G.J. Kinney,
yes,
Robert Traylor, guys like you could go get some guys that are damn good coaches.
Agreed.
We've been talking about John Summerall from Tulane, unbelievable coach,
dude. I think what Brendan Marion is about to do at Sacramento State is going to raise some eyebrows.
Yeah, he was in the middle of that whole quarterback NIL deal.
Oh, it's funny you mentioned that.
I don't know how much of that hurting.
I don't know. I mean, I can't confirm, but I had been told by a few people inside the program that I trust very heavily that we were about to pull the trigger on Brendan Marion being the offensive coordinator until we found out that supposedly he was the leader of offering those fake NIL deals, which is why UNLV had so many transfers, was they were offered certain NIL packages and they never, ever happened. Right? And supposedly he was kind of the ringleader of that. So we backed off and went with
right. And the people obviously were like, well, you got to get it in paper. Well, we know that none of that really matters. I mean, at this point, but in the end, I think some of that had to do with Brennan and I don't know how much of it did, but I think he kind of had to go down to that lower level. He's going to have to prove himself. But I mean, now that offense has proven that it works.
I agree. I was so excited. And I had a couple conversations with Brendan Marion when it appeared as though he was going to be the guy. So he was excited about potentially returning back to Oklahoma because, he spent some time here. But it is what it is. And we evidently found something in our investigation that we didn't like. So we moved on. And I was a little butthurt about it at first, if I'm going to be honest with you, because when it comes to offensive,
he recruits well.
He does. He recruits well. His offense is obviously very efficient. We put up points. And Doug Meacham's last stint as OC at TCU didn't exactly go well, which is why he was demoted to wide receivers coach. But at the same time, whenever you look at some of the greatest names in Oklahoma State heyday, right, the 2010, 2011 days when we kind of started being somewhat relevant, that was all Doug Meacham's recruiting. So I have some faith.
Well, we'll see.
Like he's the dude that developed Brandon Pettigrew. He's the one that recruited Des Bryant to come to Oklahoma State.
This is probably the time when now you want Gundy to kind of take the back seat to his assistants or whatever, right?
Yeah. And that's what I've been told is Mike Gundy's out recruiting
what
more.
You've been doing, hang out at the ranch. And
do more recruiting. Yes, take your helicopter to these high schools, do more kissing babies and shaking hands and being a visual representation of the university and let your coaches coach. As of now, that is happening in Stillwater. Now, we all know that Mike Gundy does like control, so this could change. But as of now, he's taking more of a CEO recruiting approach and letting the coaches coach and recruit the guys they want to recruit. And he seemingly not combating it.
Yeah, I can see that.
And he may not be a fan, like you got to admit. He might have some reluctancy in recruiting some of these dudes, but if Todd Grantham and Doug Meacham are saying, no, sorry, these are the guys, we're out there doing it, which is something we've never done before.
Well,
we've always been okay with
when you go 0-9. What choice do you have when you go 0-9 in the Big 12?
Well, and again, that's I think the Board of Regents
20 returning starters.
How many? Oh, I don't know, maybe 6, 5.
No, but I mean that he didn't have a choice after they go 0-9 in the conference, have 20 returning starters, coming back, and you fucking gag it away like that.
Yep.
He was definitely painted in the corner. He's got to shut up. He's got to shut up and let them do their thing. And if you're smart,
the
you do
only
that
thing that I
anyway. You
wish
just
he would
let it
ship.
go. Let it
He
go.
needs
Let
to
him
make
go.
more. He needs to make more TV appearances. Like, dude, last year his appearance with Pat McAfee was flipping awesome, but then we didn't do anything with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, listen, I get it. I get it, man. Yeah, and I know that he's eyeing that SEC. He's going to go to Kentucky almost definitely if they fire Stoops, which seems to be happening anytime now. But he would have taken that job. He was going to get the job at North Carolina had it not been for Belichick coming along and wanting that gig.
Dude, is Tulane becoming a stepping stone factory?
Well, Willie turned it into something real.
Well, and Willie just landed. I don't know how, but Houston got like the number 1 or number 2 quarterback in America. It's their second 5-star in the last decade, which is actually surprising because they spent the least last year in the Big 12 and NIL by a significant margin. They spent $2.1 million in NIL, and I think the next was like 3.4. So they were quite a bit below everybody else. So how they landed a 5-star All-American quarterback, I don't know. I hope so, but that's the thing, Bo.
There has to be something.
If they only spent $2 million last year for their entire roster.
Yeah, but the Fertittas are in charge of that shit, bro.
No, it's there. But hey, man,
I hope so.
I got to dip. I got some stuff I got to do.
Brother, we appreciate you coming in, big dog.
I appreciate talking to y'all. Boomer Sooner.
Chuck them down.
No, don't do that. I can do that. I like that one.
I do that shit. I almost did it when I brought you on, so just be happy that I did not.
I do. I'm surprised you didn't. The only thing
I just forgot. It was
the only thing I hear more from you than Okie Light is your mediocre mic comparisons.
Yeah, mediocre Mike. It's his name.
Dude, I have to admit to you that hat is gangster as shit.
I love it, man. Hey, if you would like one of these killer hats, make sure you guys are getting on our. Listen, I've said this on the little commercial that I made. I don't make jack off of these. I don't. The partnership with Fanatics is good for you guys. It's not. It's cool for me because I get great deals. That's pretty much any commissions I've gotten. I've just bought shit, and not a ton of people are using them. I feel like I'm the only one that really uses it, but. Man, you get if you have a Fanatics partner store, because it is different, you will get the best deal possible no matter what. No matter what. So, guys, jump in there, hofmedia.us/fanatics, hofmedia.us/fanatics, and get your gear, no matter who you like. If it's Okie Light or the Purple Cats, go get it because you'll get the best deal you can get. They do have some killer stuff right now. And
bro, you have to admit the K-State Cocaine Willie logo might be one of the coolest logos in college football.
Yeah, dude, the Power Cat is pretty cool. No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, dude, I do have to admit that your grind has been very impressive to watch. So you've done all of this completely on your own, and you've built this thing completely by yourself, which is extremely admirable. I probably couldn't do it. Like I rely on Locked On to carry a decent amount of weight. Brother, you do all of that on your own.
I rocketed this last year, though. You're up over 10,000, 12,000 subs now.
No, I'm at like 93 or no. I'm not at 10K yet. Oh. But I should get there here before too long.
Than that we're at 4,400, which, by the way, folks, run those up, run the likes up, make sure you're hitting the like button. That's the free way to help us out. But in the other way, look, we need to, by season starting, we got to hit 5,000. It would be so freaking dope if we hit 5,000. It would make me very happy. We did hit a million views recently. Which was kind of cool.
Really?
Yeah. A couple months back.
Buddy. Yeah, no,
I didn't think I'd get 100 people to watch this, man. 10 for that matter. I mean, shit. I'm as surprised as anybody. But we do put a lot of work in it. I love it. I mean, it's just how you do the same thing. You work your ass off. So you may have Locked On behind you, but you still have to put in the work. So
Well, and it's funny you say that, right? I'm one of those individuals that I oftentimes over prepare, which is like I'll spend 6 hours watching highlights and film to squeeze into a 30-minute segment. So I've learned to adapt a little bit over time. But yeah, dude, it's everyone says anybody can get a microphone and start a podcast. That's true. Anybody can, but to have consistency and longevity in doing a podcast, it's a little bit different. Because it takes a while to get monetized, and then after you get monetized, it's such a roller coaster ride. Like football season, I make enough to pay all my bills. When it's not football season and we suck at basketball and we're
been
not
tough.
doing great in baseball, it does make it more difficult.
Well,
But
thank
yeah,
you.
coming up with daily content, people think that it's easy to do, but it's not, or everybody would do it. And the biggest thing is just longevity. Most podcasts don't even last a year. So what you've done is pretty badass, buddy.
We're definitely coming up on 3 years. I appreciate that. That's nice of you to say. Coming up on 3 years. It'll be 3 years in the end of June. I think it was like June 27th was our first episode, I believe, me and Bryce. Now, of course, it wasn't just a college football show at that point. We were just talking sports, but
Gotcha.
it kind of found its way to that point or whatever. But yeah, man, there's been some ups and downs, but I don't know. I love the shit. And like where I want to head with this, and like we're doing some stuff, and my mom taking care of my mom, some stuff for my mother. I should be able to get out of here by the time the season starts. So the hope is that I've got a few things, lined up that I'm wanting to do. It'd be cool to have partners of some kind, to not have to do it all yourself, but it is what it is. You got to find those guys first. You know what I mean? And not everybody's going to put in the work like that. You know what I mean?
Well, and me and you have discussed, branching off and doing our own kind of stepbrother style of show. But I'm pretty sure at this point in time, about 60% of your audience does not like Cody anymore.
Oh no, they like you. They just like to fuck with you. They just like to fuck with you.
Well, that's about the one thing I'm a fan of.
It is what it is.
Say, speaking of OU,
hey, how's my guy? How's my guy?
He's doing all right. He was out for 8 weeks with a shoulder injury, so he just
that stupid shit.
Oh. Yeah, that shit. It ended up being a little bit bigger than we anticipated.
You're gonna call tomorrow if you try this new shit. Ooh, that made me mad.
Yeah, so he's pitched one game since the coaches did that crap, and yeah, so we're kind of in a rehab mode.
Fuck that guy up.
I mean, I'm not a fan. I personally hope that we have new coaching involved, but it is what it is. We are where we are, but that's okay. Summer ball, club ball. We're traveling to Alabama, Georgia, Omaha. We're going all over the country, and this is the portion of the season that matters, which is a damn shame. Growing up, high school ball mattered, right? Club ball was somewhat insignificant. Now it's completely flipped. Scouts are at the summer club games. Scouts are not at high school games anymore.
It's just like
him missing 90% of the high school
playing
season.
golf in high school meant jack shit. He had to be good at AJGA. That was all that mattered.
So yeah, he basically missed 90% of the school ball season with the shoulder injury, but he's back now, and we just started throwing again the last couple weeks. So we've got some stuff to work on. His velo went from 83 to 72, so we've got some work to do.
Well, yeah, thanks to that fucking coach and his wild ideas and shit.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is like I know what drill he was attempting to do, but you also have to take into consideration that not everybody is the same. Not every pitcher is the same. So sometimes you need to cater your workouts based on what they're good at. I don't know, man. He's got the #1 spin rate in the state of Colorado, and the coach wants him to throw faster. Of course, every pitcher wants to throw 90. I get it. I love it. I'm with it.
But he's also.
But if you have a 2,300 spin rate, who cares?
Isn't he a sophomore?
No, he's a junior.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, he's still got time, and he's been getting recruited. Don't fuck with it.
Well, so it's mentioned that he just got an offer from Regent University in Virginia, And it's actually pretty intriguing because this is their first year ever of a baseball program. So they'll start off D3, but they're building a $25 million facility. They're trying to eventually get to D1. Is Virginia quite a ways? Yeah, it is, but it might be a really good opportunity for him.
Brother, man, wherever he can go get his school paid for is good enough, right?
I agree. Yes, and the scholarship offer is
it's legit. No, that's a good school.
Decent.
That's good. It's a good baseball school. I like it.
I'm excited.
It's good
I'm
stuff.
excited
Dude.
for him.
Are y'all going to be in Bama in July? That's when our team is going to be down there. Oh, are you going to be in Bama in July for, I guess it'd be summer ball or whatever?
Yes, we are. We are actually. We are in Alabama.
T-Bone,
Gulf Shores or something to that effect. It's down. I do know that our Airbnb is like on. I can visually see the beach. So wherever that is, I'm pretty excited.
That'd be down like yeah. So like around where the Senior Bowl's at and stuff.
Yeah. It's
Mobile, Alabama.
Down, you would
Mobile,
got a weird name, but I can't remember. Yes, we will be in Alabama.
That's cool. Let's see. I like Cody. It's always going to be Big Boomer Sooner, but it's the Oklahoma thing. You dig? I root for now Clem.
I actually, if nothing else, what I'm hoping for our future content is Bedlam spring games. If we can't have regular ones, I want the spring ones to happen.
That ain't gonna happen.
See, I see your little stank face there. And you're about to give us a soliloquy on how Mike Gundy is a giant vagina that's scared of OU. And I don't know.
Man, it is because of that. He's all for that one, but he didn't want shit to do with it on keeping the game going when it'll make him money.
I honestly think, if I can be realistic, I think his comments about not wanting or not needing Bedlam anymore because they left, I honestly think he was just, he was a little butthurt. He was a little butthurt. Let's just call it, because our entire existence has been kind of tethered to OU, right? So every move that was going to potentially be made was going to be with OU. Remember those conversations? What, I don't know, 6-7 years ago? Yes. And there was going to be a connection no matter what. So I do feel like that Mike Gundy felt like OU abandoned Oklahoma State. Now, thankfully, we're good enough finally to not need that tether. But at the same point in time, I think his comments were a little bit more emotionally driven than logically driven. And I think over the last couple of years, he's realized.
We got him lathered up at Big 12 too, man. We got him real lathered up there. But we weren't the first one to ask him about that shit. We were the second ones to ask him about it at Big 12 Media Days. He got all butthurt though. It was great. Yeah. I don't think Oklahoma will do it for the spring game though. Maybe they would. I don't know. But when he started talking about not going live and stuff like that, I think that in of itself, because there is a hate there, if you want it to not get crazy, you can't have the game because
I agree, but my first reaction to not having a full live was like yours. I thought it was kind of ridiculous, but the more I thought about it, even if they just did a bunch of one-on-ones all day, having O State wide receivers go against OU DBs,
it'd be fighting still, bro. It'd get crazy. You know what I mean?
And that's okay. A little bit of animosity is not a bad thing.
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
I just think that's not. I think you could end up getting guys hurt and doing some stupid shit like that over fighting that you probably don't want.
Well, that's why he doesn't want to go.
Are you going to make some actual money instead of playing the game? I still, to me, to get rid of, I think that what we're worried about with college football, and this is right on topic for what we're talking about, is losing rival games. We're not, you heard Matt Rule talking about, well, why the fuck would I want to play Oklahoma? Well, because it's Oklahoma and you're Nebraska.
Speaking of being giant vagina dolls, Matt Rule is not helping himself out whatsoever.
I don't understand the guy. I really don't. I never thought of him that way whatsoever when he was at Baylor. And he just, he turned.
I think he's a good coach. I do think he's
a good coach, but I think he turned borderline bitch. I don't get it.
He seems to be one of those individuals at this very moment, right, that's allowing his, what is it, puppy dog mouth to overload his bulldog ass or in reverse.
Why didn't you? I mean, like Tennessee, yeah, they made the playoff, but dude, it's Tennessee. You know what they're gonna go back to. Why wouldn't you want to play that game?
I have a question, actually.
Yeah.
As an OU fan,
Mhm.
did you guys have a ton of enjoyment seeing Josh Heupel in the playoff, or did it matter at
It
all?
didn't last very long. If you
No, I know
did,
that, but I'm just saying,
no, I was
like
glad he
from
did.
an
I love
Oklahoma
Josh.
State
Oh,
perspective,
I
if
think so.
if Brandon Weeden took over a team and took him to the playoff,
Sure.
I think we would, as a fan base, we would cheer very heavily for
Oh,
that
I
individual.
think
Did
that
OU do that with Tennessee?
Sure. Yeah. I think
Okay.
so. I think that aside from now, the Tennessee fans were a little wild, when
Okay.
for the game part. And he said some shit like he let up on Oklahoma at the end. He didn't. He was afraid about getting Nico hit. But now here's the thing. Overall, as the fan base, we love Josh. Right. And so, I mean, he's the last guy to win a damn natty. You gotta love him.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, yeah, he's been a great coach. I think he's done a great job. But I also think that there's a large contingent of people that are, within the people that make decisions that would love to see him come to Oklahoma and be the coach if it doesn't work out with BV.
That was what I was getting to.
Well, and
Look at that segue.
I don't know how. There's also a large contingent of people that don't want former Sooners coaching there too, after what we saw with Latrell and what we're seeing with Joe John.
Okay.
And then there's some people that are pissy about DeMarco all the time too. I've been a little pissy about DeMarco at times, but overall, and like somebody was saying, well, if DeMarco leaves, they should go get Adrian Peterson. I was like, do not go get Adrian Peterson, because if you guys talk shit about him, I will lose it. Not having it. No. But I think that there's a large group of people that don't want to see that, really. You know what I mean? It changes the dynamic. It changes the dynamic of how you feel about these guys. It does.
Did I tell you about me having a somewhat professional fangirl moment? The first 7 of 7 tournament that I ever covered, Adrian Peterson rolled up, and
bro,
I'm not gonna lie, I was a fan.
Little starstruck, yeah, dude.
Yeah. I was texting people like, "Oh shit, I'm next to Adrian Peterson," because I think
one time I was tripping too.
Adrian Peterson is the best running back that I watched, that I thought, this guy's actually going to break some of Barry's records, honestly. And I almost hate to admit that, but Adrian was the first player that I saw as a freshman that was better than everybody else in the country.
He was a freak.
How he never won a Heisman?
Oh, he should have won it that year. They just didn't give it to freshmen.
You're right. Yeah, they wouldn't give it to AD because of politics, but they would give it to Johnny Manziel.
Right.
Yeah.
That money talks, dog. Money talks.
That's a wild one. Well, dude, we could have a segment on what the flip has happened to the Heisman Trophy. Right? Because when Barry Sanders won it in 1988, it was because he shattered 35 records, right? So even people that didn't watch him, you could just tell statistically he was on a different level. And at that time, you could say that Oklahoma State was like Oklahoma State back then. We weren't bigger than Boise State back in the day. We were not. So Barry Sanders won it purely off of merit and stats. Yeah. And if you go off of pure merit and stats, Ashton Genty should have won the Heisman last year.
I don't know about that.
He's one of the first guys that have.
Hold on a minute. When nobody's done what Travis Hunter's done, though. This is an argument that I had with Boganowski about it too. 130 plays. He won the Bolitnikoff and the freaking
but statistically,
the year.
Statistically, he didn't do anything.
Hold on, though.
On either side of the ball.
That's not true. He led touchdown wise. He was one of the leaders in the country for touchdowns. Out of receivers, he was the 500 leader.
Yards?
No, he had bullshit. No, he had 1,200 yards, bro.
No way. He did not have 1,200 yards.
Let's look it up.
You need to look it up.
I'll look right now.
I do recall him having a ton of.
He had 5 interceptions. They didn't throw at him a bunch, and he played fucking 130 plays a game. You can't judge it like you would normal stats.
I don't know.
I think he was the best player in the country. And that's what it's supposed to be. You're the best player in the country. It's not about what you did. I mean, now I could go back and say Derrick Henry shouldn't have won it over Christian McCaffrey.
Agreed. Yeah.
But
because
Derrick
Christian
Henry also had stats that say, man, maybe he should have.
That's a good comp actually, because Christian McCaffrey had so many stats.
It was almost Barry Sanders. In fact, he was better at a couple of things.
I mean, yeah, he did. He was a running back. He was a wildcat quarterback. He was a punt returner, kick returner. Like
His stats are
Christian McCaffrey's. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Travis Hunter only had like 500 or 600 yards receiving.
No, he didn't. He had 1,258 yards.
No way.
Call me a liar. 90 receiving. He had 96 receptions, 1,258 yards, 15 touchdowns. He averaged
last season
per. Yes, 2024. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll shut up then.
I mean, again, do I think he was better than Jeremiah Smith? No. Do I think he was better than Ryan Williams? No. But I do think he's a better receiver than he was a defensive back. And even
I didn't realize he put up 1,200 yards.
They didn't even throw at him that much though, as a DB.
Yeah, it's a foot and mouth moment for me. Now I didn't realize he put up that amount of yards.
Yeah. Across 40 games, this is what it says on NCAA. Across 40 games, he had 272 catches and 3,963 yards and almost 48 touchdowns. Jesus.
Well, and he had 700 yards the year prior, and I actually didn't realize he had that many the year prior either.
Right. So check this out. He played 1,399. So defensive snaps.
But if he wasn't
503 defensive snaps last year, that's a shit ton.
But if he wasn't part of the Coach Deion Sanders media hype train, would he have won it?
Dude, I think that we saw something that we've never seen before. Who was a better player on the field from week to week? That's what the Heisman's supposed to be.
I don't disagree. And I think here's the only reason that I would put Hunter above Genty is because of the level of competition. And I will admit,
and I like Ashton Genty. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I agree. But when people were talking about him, touching some of
the worst rush defense conference in America, by the way.
Well, yeah, and so Barry Sanders, you probably know this, in his career at Oklahoma State, he only clocked minutes in 8 fourth quarters. Barry Sanders didn't play a lot of fourth quarters. Boise State would purposely keep running Ashton in the fourth quarter when they were up 52-7. So I don't appreciate the pat statting that they were doing.
Yeah, I get that.
And so,
and also, and like Zolfik says, all stats aren't equal. So the stat that I think about, yes, they played. They won 9 games. I mean, they went from 1 game to 4 games to 9.
Correct.
And without him, what do? They don't do it. Even with, and again, Shedeur was very good, by the way. So what do they do without those 2 guys? Not much. But he's playing 130 snaps a game. Dude, we've never seen that shit before.
Yeah.
And he could dominate both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I didn't realize he put up 1,200 yards. With that knowledge, I take back my statement.
Well, I mean, it's fair. And I mean, I think I understand the people that have said otherwise. I mean, like the people that they were like, well, Michael Penix should have won it the year before instead of, I don't agree, because Jaden had better numbers than Joe Burrow the year that they won the Natty.
Yeah. I mean, I was indifferent on that. I would have personally voted Penix, but Jaden Daniels did deserve it. So I can live with that one.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I'm just saying. Yeah. And I guess it's supposed to be who is like your MVP, but the most outstanding player type of deal or whatever you want to call it. I think that there's different things for it, but to me, I think they did the right thing with it. With I think both years, I didn't think that there was a way that you could not give it to to Travis. I just didn't. But would it have surprised me had they not? Probably not.
Hey, let's have some fun with
Trick
some of
says,
these
"Who do you
comments.
guys have as the best running back this year?" Hey, that's a good one. I actually made a list on that.
In the country?
Yep. That's who he's asking. That's what he's asking.
Let me get the Army transfer that went to Arizona State. Udah.
Oh yeah. He
I
may be
think
one of he's
I think
definitely
he's
up
going to
there.
have a Cam Scatterbo style of season.
He could.
And but he didn't get utilized at Army, right? I think he's like one of the first 4-star recruits they've ever landed.
Had to know that wasn't going to last then.
Well, and then their quarterback ended up rushing for 1,000 yards or something crazy. So their quarterback ended up being the running back. So they got one of the top running backs in the country, and they didn't exactly use him. And I watched a few Army games this previous season, and the whole time I was like, well, why do they not give that number 6 the ball more often? But so his utilization at Army wasn't much. He got bigger, he got stronger, he got faster, and he's pretty fresh. So I would put him up there. And so somebody I think is very overrated is Dylan Edwards at Colorado.
I like Dylan Edwards a lot too.
He showed some flashes at Colorado. He showed some flashes last year.
He was good last year too. Yeah, he was good last year.
And I understand the combination of him and Avery from a speed perspective are very difficult to defend. But I'm not buying the Dylan Edwards hype, buddy.
You're not buying it?
No, I'm not buying it. I think he's somewhat overrated. I don't want to say very overrated, but
I don't know. I like him. And here's
who do you think is going to be the best back in the country?
Well, let's see. I like Jaden Ott a lot. He was an All-American 2 years ago. If he's healthy, I love Jaden Ott.
Dude, I thought he was going to stay at Cal because he stayed for so long. Like, you know what I mean? He bypassed so many of those windows that him transferring was kind of a surprise. So that's a big get.
But the other one would be like Jeremiah Love would be from Notre Dame. I mean, he was a bad dude. And that trio down at Texas A&M, they're legit. Caden Durham's legit. Wisner at Texas is a bad dude, man. There's some good running backs.
Dude, I did like Jadon Blue. I know he's gone, but
yeah. That I like that Frazier at Georgia. I like him. He's pretty good. I don't know, man. But I think honestly, I think it's Jordan Love. If not, maybe Jaden Ott. I love Jaden Ott. Shit. But I tell you who you should watch out. I think that at some point, our boy Torrey Blaylock could explode off the page if he gets the opportunity to. That guy, his dad was such a stud in the NFL too. Oh. And we've heard a lot of good things.
I hope Caleb Daniels has a big year. Because I think Caleb Hicks is about to pop very well. Yeah.
Dude, I'm glad to hear that too, because I don't know what was going on there. Why? I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird.
In DeMarco's doghouse or what? But because if you see him, he's that first guy off the bus looking dude. I mean, and he's looked like that since he was a true freshman. He showed up looking like that. Holy
you know who my some of the old school Sooner fans in here will appreciate this. My comp for Caleb Hicks is Quentin Griffin.
Oh wow. Damn, yeah. Quentin, that's shit. Yeah, Torrey's got some wheels. He does, man. He's a home run waiting to happen. But that's how I feel about Ott too. You realize that in part of 3 seasons, he had that really good year 2 years ago in the Pac-12. But he's got 3,000 yards from scrimmage, 30 touchdowns, basically in 2 seasons, full seasons anyway. And the dude has yet to even put one on the ground. He's never fumbled at all.
I'll be damned.
Not a lost one, not even one he didn't lose.
And for his size, that's very impressive.
Dude, yeah, man. And here's the thing that impressed me the most about him was that their offense was shitty. They couldn't throw to save their life at Cal. that you're in. I mean, you don't get 1,500-yard years out of running backs whenever you can't. They're one-dimensional, and they were one-dimensional. Unreal. Chances are, if he's healthy, there's no telling, man. I think this Oklahoma team can be legit. You just brought up Kendall Daniels. Whoa, bro. They're loving him at Cheetah. They're loving him at Cheetah. They're loving him at linebacker a little bit. I think.
So hold on. And you can clarify this. From what I've heard about Kendall is he's doing phenomenal, but that's primarily because he's not being used in coverage like we used him. He's being used in primarily certain packages. Like his primary objective is to get into backfield and be disruptive instead of covering dudes 50 yards down the field like we had him do. Is that
and I think
accurate?
that Kendall was struggling. I think he was struggling with the switch of positions, right? I don't think that he really knew what he was doing.
No, it's very evident he did not know.
Because I think a lot of people were saying he was dogging it. I don't think he was dogging it. I don't think
No. Go back and watch highlights. There's several times where he's literally walking on the field with a running back running by him. He gave up. He 100%. It's very, very, very visible. In the middle of games, he would stop running. And he was the only player.
Guess who else quit? The whole coaching staff. The whole coaching staff had quit on it.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think that he kind of gave up because he saw the staff gave up way before he did, honestly.
And I know, I know when we talked earlier and you were kind of brought that kind of stuff up, and then a little while later you were like, you know what, actually I love the kid. I hope he's doing okay. And so
the only thing I didn't like about Kendall Daniels' entire time in Stillwater was when his family took that picture of throwing their OSU shit in the trash before he entered the portal. That was the only thing that got me extremely riled up. Because I do know that we significantly took care of him in NIL, and that is one of the reasons he continuously played, even though his PFF grades were horrendous. I didn't appreciate his family dogging Oklahoma State when we clearly made him a priority, and we gave him Spencer Sanders level treatment before the animosity started. I didn't appreciate his family acting that way. That's the only Kendall thing.
Theo Weiss pulled some shit like that last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was being a total douche. And
that's the thing is like I don't know what happened.
Caden Green's family showed their asses too.
Well, that was a dumb move in my opinion. I know he did good, or he's doing good at Mizzou, but
he hasn't been really.
It's not the same, yeah. He hasn't lived up to what they're paying him, that's for damn sure.
No, and they were saying that he was going to be the reason that Drink got him was because we're going to make him a tackle where he wants to play and where he should play. And then it was like, nah, he's better off at guard. Like they said. Overpaying the shit out of him. And then even at that, he struggled. They didn't play him in the middle part of the year for like 3 games because he was not playing well. He didn't hardly play at all in the A&M game.
Well, for OSU, that's one of the reasons that I'm excited. Other than the schedule, we do have a beneficial schedule again, thankfully. Secondarily, it's just the way this whole thing is being coordinated. Like last year, half of the team would have been benched with this new staff.
Yeah.
So if you're dogging it, you're walking, you're showing up late to meetings, all that, you're gone, and that is new. Oklahoma State's ran a pretty tight ship externally, but internally we weren't doing much. I know Justin Kirkland just left Oklahoma State to go to BYU, but he turned down several schools the end of last year after we fired all the coaches, after we hired all the coaches, yada, yada, yada. And in my multiple conversations with him, he had told me that the reason he kept turning people down is because the new staff is so exciting and they're actually teaching technical things. I've heard from several players, they did not teach technique last year, like almost at all. They were doing bullshit drills every week. It was monotonous. The coaches weren't coming up with creative.
Right? And I know you, and you were getting along pretty well with the DC, but
Yeah, dude,
man.
we're still tight. Matter of fact, as soon as Yamil to leave, left Oklahoma State, I got a hold of Nardo, and they're together. So Yamil's going to Charlotte.
Oh,
So
good.
yeah, so me and Nardo are still tight. We still talk on a regular basis.
Where's he at UNC Charlotte?
Charlotte. Yep,
Okay.
correct.
Okay, good for him.
So I am
He's already
planning
down-
on going to a Charlotte
Like,
game.
I remember when what's his name was. I mean, he kind of ripped on him a little bit, and it was a fair state. I mean, you got to get guys that are ready for that position, and I don't know that he was. You know what I mean?
He wasn't, and I think the biggest difficulty for Nardo was he knew he was coming in with training wheels, right? Because he went from D3 to P4. So he knew that he was going to come in and not have full control. But what he didn't see coming was he was going to be stripped of control more and more and more and more and more. So by the halfway point of the season, he wasn't even really the DC, and he didn't really have a lot of say. And whenever that happens, when you're not allowed to play your guys, and you're not allowed to run your system, and you're being forced to run a different system, and you're bringing in guys like Kevin Steele to help install a new system mid-season, you're probably not going to be successful. I mean, I don't know any coach that would be benefited by having his system stripped away from him twice.
Yeah.
But I think they have something cooking in Charlotte. So I'm pretty excited to see what he's able to do with the remainder of his career. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up back in the Big 12 and becomes a problem for us, because he's still super young. His version of the 3-3-5.
He's a cool guy, right? I mean, hell of a. I think that, and look, whether it went well or not doesn't mean that you can't get better from it. I mean, you should get better
Absolutely.
from it.
It's a learning moment, right?
Oh,
and he did learn.
Listen, he went from D3 to Big 12. That's a meteoric jump. It's a jump that they probably should have done. But for him, what a great ability to learn. You know what I mean?
Well, and he did learn from it, because he got a comparable job offer from Ohio, and I thought he was going to take it. And my conversations with him, the reason he did not take it, and there was a couple other schools involved as well, it's because everybody wanted him to adjust to their system. And he tried that at Oklahoma State, and it was an absolute disaster. So he decided to go somewhere that was going to allow him to recruit and play the guys he wanted his way, and that's why he ended up at Charlotte. So, yeah, he did learn from Oklahoma State. He came here on a very short leash, and the leash got burned really quickly, which burned him and made him look like an inferior coach.
Well, and on top of that, see, those are the things like that. That's why I say that the shit I say about Mike, because the stuff that, like, he could have kept. Knowles didn't want to leave to go to Ohio State. He fucking took the money that he was supposed to give him as a raise and gave it to himself.
No. He did. We did offer Jim Knowles like $1.3 million. It wasn't about the money. It was something to do with his wife. His wife couldn't move to Oklahoma, wouldn't move to Oklahoma, something to that effect.
Oh, his ex-wife now. It's now ex-wife. Yeah.
How ironic is that one? But yeah, so what originally I thought Jim Knowles didn't like being micromanaged by Mike Gundy, and there might be some validity to that. But then I learned that we offered him SEC style of money.
That's why he didn't take the job at OU, because he wanted Venables to let him do whatever he wanted, and Venables was like, "There's no
wants to do his own thing.
Gonna, like, not have nothing to do with the defense. I know you're good, but I'm the man." So it's like, come on,
dude. I will not lie. I was stressing about him going to OU. I did not want that to happen. I'm just going to be real with you. I did not want to see him turn OU's defense into a juggernaut.
It may have turned out better because, and here's why. I'll explain to you why.
Yeah.
So they go and they end up getting the guy from Clemson, who is the DC there. They basically got two DCs as linebacker coaches right now that easily, I mean, bro, they're going to be right on, and they're like their linebacker. So when everybody was all worried about, or I don't know how many people were really that worried about it, with Zach Alley leaving, everybody was like, well, shit, that was quick, and what the hell? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think everybody thought a lot of him, But what a weak sauce move to go to freaking West Virginia. Weird. But the fact that they were able to go and get these guys, and both of them were, up and comer coaches type, it works, man. And you've got really good recruiters, really good linebacker coaches, and I think it's going to help. Plus, BV, if he is coaching for his job, which I don't believe he's really coaching for his job unless they go to 5 or 4 wins, which I don't really see happening. But
see, I don't know, man. I think social media is
they're not going to pay him $35 million and his staff all that. It'd be $100 to get him out.
It was up to OU fans. He better be competing for a title this upcoming year.
OU fans. Some OU fans, I agree.
I think, my opinion on BV. I like BV. I hope they give him enough time. I hope they give him at least 2 more years, because I don't think that this year's schedule is very beneficial for you guys. But
I think they're going to win 9. I think they're going to win 9.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
It could. I mean, look, I think Mateer is that guy. They added their offensive line was young last year, but they got guys that ended up with they got some needed time.
Bro, you should go. You should go to the OU Auburn game.
I'll be there.
Will you?
Oh yeah, I'll be there for that one. I can't believe you're going. That's cool. I'm glad.
I'm just going for Hudson.
Oh, that'll work.
He's the punter now at Auburn.
I like it.
And he was one of my first NIL deals. So
I got a bye week or something that week?
No, I've just decided that I'm going to go see Garrett play. I'm going to go to see Yamil play. I'm going to go see Lyric Rawls play. I'm going to go see Hudson. So the guys that I got super close with, I'm going to continue to follow their careers instead of – I only go to Stillwater, for a few games a year. I don't need to be at every game. So there's going to be some weeks that
almost better to go on the road games a lot of times.
Yeah, so I'm going to follow some of my guys that I'm still pretty tight with, and then make a couple Oklahoma State games, of course, along the way. But
how's the 7-on-7 stuff going? Before we go,
I've had a couple more difficulties medically, so I haven't really got to travel as much this year. But there's still a couple of guys in the pipeline that I'm trying to help get to Oklahoma State. I feel pretty confident about one of them. Another one of them just committed to Boise State, but there's still plenty of time for us to come around. Dude, it's an exciting thing to do, of course, and I do think that it's helping grow. My only issue, and this has been a new issue, is some of these high school kids already have agents and lawyers and shit.
Yep.
Like, some of them are already demanding money for interviews and appearances and things of that nature.
That's kind of weird, right? For the interview stuff,
I hate it.
Weird.
I hate it.
Yeah,
I cannot stand it.
I don't know that either.
So some of it's not great, and there are some 7-on-7 organizations that are meddling in this tampering stuff. And you and I both know the term tampering
AAU
doesn't really exist.
It's just like AAU basketball.
Yeah, right. And so what the things that I do, like I've helped players get to other places.
Some people aren't. Some of those, like Dent and his teams, are awesome, but I get it. Yeah. I think that there's a lot of them out there that it's the Wild West. It's the Wild West everywhere, Cody.
And that's the thing is like there's always going to be a third party entity, whether it's a family member, a media guy, whatever. There's always going to be somebody that is looking out for your best interest. And if your current university is openly, visibly screwing you, and a friend is trying to help you get to another college, I don't understand why this is still considered tampering. Now, if it's coaches, then it's a different story. But you and I both, 90% of this is not coaches doing it.
They can't do shit.
Like, I'll admit, like, I've had people that I've reached out to and said, hey, man, if things continue this way, X, Y, and Z university definitely could use your services, right? And that's one of the funnest parts of the job. Of course, getting people to Oklahoma State is priority number one. But I'm loving the growth that I've had in getting into some other colleges as well. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to be just a guy that helps get people to Oklahoma State, because not everybody's going to be an Oklahoma State level individual. So I'm excited in what I'm doing. Very happy with the growth, and 7-on-7 is continuing to be a very advantageous route for me personally.
I love it. I love it.
And dude,
It
some of these
definitely
guys,
opens doors for your show, even because you know their
right?
parents, some of that kind of stuff, and being able
Yep.
to, yeah.
Yep. And I think at the end of the
Actually,
day,
got to
it's going to
talk
be
to you
good
about
for me to
something
go to
whenever.
Auburn games and KU games and Charlotte games and Virginia Tech games. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be good for my career.
Well, and that's what, as much as, I mean, I'm an Oklahoma guy and I love doing the show, but you know how we are. We talk about everything.
Yeah.
I
Dude,
like
it's why
talking about
I love coming on here. My show has to be somewhat, regimented and
well, I think I kind of have to do
prioritized
that.
by
At
segments.
some points I have to do that because my audience is largely OU. But I think my audience also enjoys talking about all the stuff that's going on.
Yep.
Rob sitting here asking, he said, if the SEC were to add 4 teams to get to 20, who do you want to add? It's 6 and 1 and half a dozen the other to me. I
think
that they
anybody
probably
that's exploring more realignment, it's got to be Miami, Florida State, North Carolina.
I think
At
North
Notre Dame.
Carolina is their number one choice. They want North Carolina, Virginia.
I don't even think Bill Belichick's going to last all season because of his daggone girlfriend.
Dude, that is a weird deal, bro.
It is.
Weird.
And his buyout is like only $1 million.
Nuttier than squirrel shit, bro.
And his buyout becomes eligible in like a couple months. Like, yeah, he's not.
Well, and I saw today he said something about everything she's doing has nothing to do with the university at this point. So, like,
yeah, except for that's all people are. Nobody's talking about North Carolina football. Nobody's talking about North Carolina recruiting. Everyone's talking about how problematic Bill Belichick's 20-year-old girlfriend is.
Well, he's been all secretive about who he got and shit like that too. It's weird. You know how he is anyway. But I don't know, dude. That's she's nuttier than squirrel shit, bro. No doubt.
Yeah. Did you see that CNN interview thingy where she kept saying, "We're not going to talk about that," and he was like,
I've been meaning to get that. I'm going to get that sound.
He looks like a scared little puppy dog. Like, is that girl might be whipping and chaining him behind closed doors. It seems to be
boiling fucking rabbits on his stove.
It's an entertaining trip. That's for sure.
Be ignored. I won't be ignored. The woman is a pouncer. Saw money and got his willy out. Yeah, man. That's the thing. The poor bastard. He doesn't even give a fuck. He's
ate up. That's the problem. He is ate the flip up over it. Hey, we've all been there. The only difference is we didn't have millions of dollars in the bank account.
Listen, brother, I'm gonna tell you, that is I'm just gonna leave it at that. You know what I'm about to say.
Well, she's trying to put a ring on it so she can share part of that money. He better get a prenup.
Shit. He's so rich, he don't fucking matter. Cousin's married to a sports agent. While he was doing fine before the NIL era, he started to flourish with it now in place. Yeah, a lot of those agents are like kind of doing those guys wrong because they're like charging them the same amount that you would charge for him to go get a real NIL deal in the NFL. I don't know that this is what's going on with your cousin.
So I've had we've got.
But I've heard a lot of those dudes are charging 30% for them to set it up with your damn collective. Like
we've got a few guys that are using lawyers on as agents, and I think that might be
move. That's
what I thought. That's what I thought.
Smart move.
Yeah. No, I've had, and I will. I don't like it. I don't like it because I told you.
Perfect way to put it. Throw it up into the air, it would turn into sunshine.
The Hoss Haney episode, it took 3 weeks of meetings with lawyers and agents and crap before it finally got approved.
Really?
Yeah, bro. Damn. So that's why I haven't had as many players on lately. It's becoming a very...
It's worse than dealing with the SID?
And then, no, the SID is still a massive bag of D's, but it is just that you have to go through a lot of hoops nowadays. And then I told you about the 5-star wide receiver that was on my show. And then like 3 days later, he hit me up and said, or his agent hit me up and said, hey, you need to pay my client for his appearance on your show. And I was like, no, I've
fuck?
never
We don't
done that.
do
I
that.
never
We don't
will
pay.
do that. And that's not how you conduct business. You don't conduct business 2 or 3 days after the fact. And I was like, so if you're really his agent, you should probably be
Do
more
a better
professional.
job. Yeah,
Because you're clearly leading the kid. And he told me we're going to charge $450 to $500 every interview. I was like, that is stupid. Like, how are you going to get your client's name out there on a more national? And then what he told me was, right, my client's appearance on your show is the biggest thing that's ever happened to you. I was like, I've had Super Bowl champions on my show. What the flip are you talking about? That rubbed me so wrong, bro.
Oh,
so
dude.
wrong. And
you had to keep your leave
unfortunately,
on like a bunch of times and shit like that. Like Akib and you were homies.
yeah. I just talked to Akib the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is, and that's the downside to NIL is
like
some of
an
these
all-pro badass Super Bowl winner. I mean, come on.
I've
man.
had Corey Hilliard, I've had Tatum Bell, I just had Haas Haney, I've had a lot of big names that have come to Oklahoma State. Rashawn Woods has been on the show. Like, yeah, I was offended. I was offended by that, but that's part of the difficulty now. Is I'm having to shift a little bit. I used to be the dude that brought on all the players. But it's becoming so difficult. I'm shifting. I don't know what I'm going to shift to. I'm thinking maybe I'll start having some more recruits on. I don't love that because, half the time they might not end up at Oklahoma State, but that might be the new route.
It's still good content that people want to watch. I don't know. I don't like chasing recruits down. Like, I've had Jaden O'Neal on recently and stuff, and like,
That's
but
awesome.
me and his dad are pretty cool. That's how that worked itself out. But we always have good. But I mean, we have good guests. I mean, that's one thing we've done. I think that the analyst guests are just as good. I mean, we have a fucking great time on the show. That's what. And thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, hang around. A lot of shit talking goes on in here. Sometimes me and Cody are at each other's fucking throat when he gets in here.
Occasionally,
So
yes.
it is it is what it is. But we
if I didn't have to leave and go check my daughter out of school, we could get on a rant about recruiting, but I guess we get to save that for another day.
We'll do that another time. At some point, it's been a while since you've invited me on your show. I wonder why. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't understand. Am I not allowed on your show anymore?
There's just not a lot of commonality. But so here's the deal.
I talk about everything, bro.
Whomever, I'll give you a ticket. What I'm thinking is, I'll invite you on whenever Taj Overton makes his decision.
Okay.
Because we're in his top 3, right? So OU and Oklahoma State are very, very, very squarely in this mix. He still seems to be an OU lean. But just like Katie Jones, a year ago we weren't even in Katie Jones top 15.
Oh, see, you know what? We should wait on this one because I got plenty to say about KD. Shout out to him. I'm glad that he is happy where he's going. It is what it is. We love Kawan.
This is a good segue.
Hey, dude, Kawan is like our guy. We love that guy.
Yeah,
nobody doesn't love Kawan Jones, man. Come on.
Yeah, and he loves OU.
Yeah.
He just the recruiting tactics were a little bit different.
Yeah, well, yeah, well, and I'll tell you that's definitely they've had some. It's been a change with the GM deal. You know what I mean? I think there's some adjustments that they're making, and they haven't. It's been a little clunky at times, I think,
and it's gonna be.
Right? It is,
and I think Oklahoma State this season. I honestly, bro, I have no clue what we're going to look like because we got like 40 new players. So we went from 20 returning starters and 90% of the same roster to like 5 returning starters and 25% of the same roster. So I have no idea what we're going to look like. I have no idea how good we're going to be. I know from a talent perspective, we've got
Can't be worse.
No, exactly. It can't be worse. And we've snagged a few former 5-stars. Shadamian Bradley was a 5-star when he went to Tennessee. J.K. Johnson was a 5-star when he went to Ohio State. So we've grabbed a few of these
guys that you may not have been able to get in the past.
Yes, that's it. And that's why our recruiting numbers were
across the board. I think that Dude, I'm gonna say this. I think that what the team that I like, I think Arizona State is very good this year. I would probably pick them, and I've been on K-State. I still think that with Avery and Matt Wells calling plays this year,
I like that.
I think that they're gonna do very
I think Texas Tech kind of screwed the pooch on him a little too early, in my personal opinion. So yeah, I'm excited. I think BYU,
stupid, dude, he was winning. What were they doing?
BYU was quietly BYU and Colorado were the two hottest teams.
I like
in the Big 12.
BYU also. I like BYU also because I think Kalani's great.
Hey, I will say before I skedaddle on off of here, I haven't looked at y'all's, but I did an episode yesterday about the betting lines. There's one benefit to having a 3-win season, and that is the fact that there's a lot of possibilities to make money. So for us to win the Big 12, it's like plus 5,000 odds. So for $20, you make over a grand. Yeah. So I did a $5 bet on Oklahoma State winning the Natty. Is Oklahoma State going to win the Natty? No, but it was over $2,500 winnings for $5, right? So
yeah, I think Oklahoma's at plus 2,500 or something like that, or maybe more.
What is y'all's over under? 7.5, 8.5,
6.5? They're still showing on FanDuel, but I don't understand it.
There's an opportunity for y'all to make money too. I was thinking about this when I was doing the betting.
They're
if Oklahoma State would have won 10 games again, and we would have played in a Big 12 title again, we would be top 3 preseason, and we'd have zero chance of making money.
Yep. Hey, and you know where you can do that, folks? Right on MyBookie.
That's right.
Right at the link below, hofmedia.us/MyBookie1000. Get on there. And get the hookup. They hook you up with, I don't even know what the deal is right now, but they will match your buy-in. I mean, I don't know what the number is there. In fact, I'm going to go look. But if they're still at 6.5, that's free money. Go get it.
Well, that's it. I'm doing $5 on Oklahoma State winning the Natty because it's a $2,500 purse. I'm doing $25 on winning the Big 12 title because it's like a $1,200 purse. And then I'm going to bet like $150 on us going over 4.5 wins. I'm only going to make like $70 off of that deal. But yeah, I think if OU, let me see, what are OU's odds at?
You lost some cash. You lost some cash that one year, right? When you
so in 2023 and 2021, I did pretty well. Last year, I did horrendous. I almost literally bet the house on Oklahoma State last year. So I need a massive recovery season. But thankfully, the old lady's on board. She was actually just asking me the other day what my bets were going to be.
The fact that Mama's still okay, yeah.
She has years where she's not, right?
That poor woman.
Well, and it all reverts back to this one thing. It was like 2011, 2012-ish. I wanted to bet. I was on the road. And I was trying to bet $150 on Ricky Fowler because the odds were like plus 22,000 or some crazy shit. And I was, hours away from my house. So I called her and I was like, hey, get a hold of this dude, right? Because betting was illegal. Get a hold of this bookie dude for me and send him $150. And she was like, well, I'm not really comfortable doing that until we go over the budget right now. And she was like, why don't you do it? I was like, I can't do it. I'm in Kansas. I need you to do it. And I need you to do it as quick as physically possible. And she was like, nah, I don't think we can do it. I got home 2 days later, Ricky Fowler won the tournament. So my $150 bet would have won me like $160,000. And ever since then, she was like, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm just going to leave you alone. Yeah. Now she lets me be. Now she did talk a lot of shit last season because I bet so heavy for absolutely nothing.
I tried to tell you not to.
But you know what? She's excited about the recovery, and my sales pitch to her was that's why same thing I just told y'all.
She's an OU fan, so we know she's smart.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is.
Don't get me going on that one.
Yeah. Hey,
if there's one thing in my marriage that I failed miserably, it was the lack of conversion abilities. Now, for 364 days, she does rock O State because she graduated as a Cowboy. But yes, her dad was a diehard. She was a big football fan, so she watched OU football every single weekend growing up. They went to several games. So yes, on Bedlam football, we don't talk. We don't even sleep in the same house. I'm not even bullshitting you. So yeah, Bedlam football is like the one day me and my old lady have nothing to do with each other. We don't talk to each other. We don't stay in the same house. I go to my cousin's that day. It is what it is. You are right. There's one day of a year. There's one day a year she becomes extremely obnoxious. And
Hey, listen. I mean, you're obnoxious the rest of the year, so fuck. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Hey,
well, bro, Hamilai, I need to skedaddle on off of here and go pick up Kennebeth from school. I'm gonna let her. She's gonna get out early, and we're gonna go surprise her. So
cool. Well, hey, tell
Early
her
turn.
I said, is her birthday?
No. There's
just-
not a particular reason. My
She's
old lady
just-
wanted her to
she's
come
just
to
a sweet
work.
kid.
She's gonna make $20, like going through a filing cabinet or something to that effect. And there's only like 1 week left of school, anyways.
Cool. Well, and tell Logan he's the man.
I will. You might need to inspire him later today because his dad rehab starts today, and he's not gonna like it. But he knows it's necessary.
Dad rehab. Oh, where you're rehabbing him? Oh,
yeah. His so I took some video of him doing some bullpen. His lower half is all jacked up. He's too high coming off the mound, and it's causing him to open his front half. So he needs to get his leg workouts and his hip orientation reconfigured.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's about to lose a few pounds.
Well, hell yeah. Well, tell him I said.
Well, he asked. He's like, hey, Dad, can you help me get the velo back? And I said, I can, but you ain't gonna like it. And he was like, oh, I know. So, okay, cool.
It's all in the legs.
As long as you're willing to embrace the suck.
The legs are where it's at. You know that.
Well, and he hasn't thrown for 2.5, 3 months, really. So, I mean, I expected him to be rusty, but he didn't expect to be this rusty. So he might need some words of encouragement.
Well, send him my way. Send him this way. Tell him I said I'm thinking about him, and that coach is a dipshit. So
there's rumors that he might be leaving. Thankfully.
Good. I'd run him off.
It is crazy that
when you told me that day, I was like, well, that's fucking smart.
Well, because the dumb part is, so last season, I asked him when the year was over, the pitching coach, and I said, well, why did my son, if he was the number 2 pitcher on your team, top 15 pitcher in the state, why did he only get 1 bullpen? And his words were, well, it's because he doesn't need bullpens because of what you do with him at home. And I was like, okay, that's fair.
And then he decided to start screwing with him.
Yes. And then, so for 2 years, he was like, I'm not even going to mess with Logan. I'm going to let you guys keep doing your thing. And then he teaches him one thing, and it puts him out for 8
You'll be with the Yankees next week if you learn how to do this.
Fucking idiot. And he lost 11 miles an hour off the mound somehow. So there's that.
I'm surprised this dude's alive. I really am.
I took
soft in your old age. I get soft.
I tried to take the more.
Yeah, listen, it keeps you out of jail, brother.
I'm trying to think of an eloquent way to put it, but
dude, I mean, I get it.
I had things to say, and I did my best.
His golf coach his senior year. It was all I could do to not. First term of the year, I wanted to kill him. I wanted him
that dead. Going into his senior year, even if this coach does stay, I'm gonna say just like don't fuck with him. Right? You didn't mess with him for 2 years.
That's a conversation that must be had.
Yes. Yeah. And that was the thing is, and I told Logan this, our whole plan, and I told him I'm good enough to get you to about your sophomore year of high school. Right? That's about where my knowledge is extensive at. Right. After your sophomore year of high school, your high school pitching coach is going to take over, and I just get to be a dad. That was the plan. But obviously that's not going to work. So.
But he trusts you though anyway. So
well, that's why he asked me yesterday. He's like, Dad, can you fix me? And I said, oh, I can.
Yeah. Let him fix it.
Ain't going to be fun.
Yeah, it's not going to be fun. He's going to
be fun.
He's going to hate it, but he trusts you. That's a good thing that he trusts you. Yeah.
The funny part is
the coach that from golf was not really a coach. He was getting a stipend. He was a damn science teacher, didn't know shit about golf. I actually helped him, but he pulled some shit before the first term into the year that was basically just sabotaging. I almost fucked him up on the golf course. It was all I could do to not. fuck him up on that golf.
I think the only reason I didn't lose my ever loving mind on the rest of the staff this season is because I knew that school ball was going to be somewhat insignificant compared to club ball.
True.
I mean, you got to think about it. We've got a couple tournaments. The one in Alabama.
Have setbacks and injuries like that. That ain't cool.
So we'll have the tournament in Alabama, and they've already confirmed there's 67 Division I coaches that'll be there. Nice. We've also got a tournament in Omaha during the College World Series. So there's going to be scouts galore at that tournament.
Well, everybody.
We've got another tournament in Kansas City that's pretty scout driven. So as long as he's ready in the next month and a half, school ball didn't matter.
Cool. Yeah, I hate that. Maybe he needed the rest. Maybe he needed a little bit of rest.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be bad because he did throw the most innings of anybody over the last 3 years.
He's a Greg Maddux type anyway. He's a location guy. Right?
And that's what, dude, we were just talking about this morning on the way to school, and I was like, listen, there is one benefit to you losing your velo, and that is you get to go back to focusing on what got you to be a top 15 pitcher, and that is your off speed. Your slider and your curveball are why you are where you are. Your fastball has never been
off the table, brother. Shit falls off the table.
Exactly. Yeah. So when you're 2,400 spin rate, you need to work on that first. So I do think in the broad scheme of things, him going back to the simplicity of working off speed and building up to velo, I think it'll actually be beneficial to him.
I love that too, because it makes them think their way around the mound, right?
100%.
It's not just about, I'm gonna see if you can hit this motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Well, and one of the biggest things that I think he's had to learn in adjustment is sometimes you have to throw a ball on purpose, right? Yep. That was the biggest thing for him on 0-2, 1-2 counts.
Waste pitches. Yeah.
Yes, he was throwing strikes on 0-2 counts, right? So he had to learn.
They're sitting on the fast.
Bury it. Like, you need to put a pitch that almost dies at the plate. Like, it needs to land in the dirt.
Or hits him in the ear almost. Yeah.
So that's been the biggest adjustment is stop throwing hittable pitches on pitchers' counts. And I think that's,
he's other the man, than the dude. He's going to be just fine. He's going to be just fine. You tell Logan I said he's the man.
All right, buddy. I appreciate you.
I got to get out of here too, man.
Appreciate your people. You're flipping awesome.
You are too, brother.
Hi, buddy.
Later. Cody Stovall, Locked On Oklahoma State. You know, he can be a pain in the ass, but he's my guy. Love me some Cody. Love me some Logan. Love me some Hall of Fame family, too, as well. I appreciate all you guys a lot coming in here. We got some new guys that have been in here. I appreciate all the kind words that I've been seeing in there. Ganja, good to see you, my guy. Mars, what's up, dog? Man, I appreciate everybody coming in. I got some stuff I got to get done today. I got to get to work, so appreciate everybody coming in. Make sure that you hit that like button. We have had, I didn't even really look at the stream while I'm here. The stream's been actually working better. You know, I think I had a bad cable and I was using Ethernet, which that was stupid, but it seems to have been working really well today. Even though it wasn't as fast as I thought it would be. Appreciate the super chats I've got. Let's make sure that I go through those super chats and want to make sure that I said thank you. Oh, Bishop Frank, thank you so much, man, for the super chat, $10 super chat. Then also we had one from Coach Ricks as well. I'm looking here. Yep, another one from Neilio on Venmo. My man, appreciate you, my guy. Y'all are awesome. It's an awesome way to help us out, but the main thing to do, we've had over 500 views in here this morning. We've only got 39 likes. We've got in here right now. Oh no, with everybody who's in here right now has hit the like button, I guess, because we only got 36 people in here at the moment. So appreciate it as far as on the YouTube side. If you're watching us on Twitter, appreciate that. Jump over and check us out. Hit that subscriber button, man. I would love to get us to 5,000 subs. It's a milestone that we'd love to be at. just to bump it up a little bit. It'll help, moving forward as well. But I appreciate it a lot, guys. Your dog chewed the cord. It could have been. It was my dog probably chewed it. But I didn't see any chew marks. I don't think it's that. I think it's just maybe it just went shitty. Not sure. But thanks for coming in. Fence Post, good to meet you, man. Thank you for coming in. Ryan C, same you as well. Same with you. Yeah, man. We love to sit here and talk ball. Season's coming up, man. Season's coming up. We're gonna have some more stuff coming up here. We're gonna start breaking down some of these positions throughout the SEC. The next one, I think we'll go to. We did the quarterbacks last week. Smook wasn't on with us today, so I'll probably wait until the next time we get him on. If you're not watching him, he's got a recruiting deal he's going to be doing on his channel, Coach Smook Network. Also, get over there and check out the Bama Standard. Jonathan, man, they've been doing badass stuff. Ty Hayes is back on that page, on that channel with them on Fridays as well. He's going to be jumping in there with them and Brinsky and Coach Sean as well. Guys, got to make sure you get over there and check that out on the Bama Standard. There's a lot of really, really good content creators out there. Make sure you get over there and check out Okie Light Cody as well on Locks on Oklahoma State. All right, guys. Appreciate everybody dropping in and all the kind words. See you on the next one.
We had, we had all kinds of chronicles of the
Hey, we're coming up on college football season 2025. Are you ready? Not so you visit the Hall of Fame College Football Partner page or not. Hey, it's time to get ready. Go to the Hall of Fame College Football Partner store, hofmedia.us/fanatics. Look, we don't get a bunch of money off of this affiliate deal. That's all right. The best part about it is you get really, really good deals, which is why I have so many different hats. This one just came in yesterday. I've got another one that's in there too. But listen, the best part about our deal with Fanatics Store is that our amazing audience members and me get great deals on the stuff in the store. That's right. No matter what the best deal is, you're going to get it on my partner link. That's the way they work because they certainly don't pay the affiliates. That's all right. Make sure you jump over there, check it out. Anyway, get the best deal you can get. Take it as a little appreciation from us for you being the best audience on YouTube. So go check it out. hofmedia.us/fanatics. That's hofmedia.us/fanatics. Hey, we're coming up on college football season 2025. Are you ready? Not so you visit the Hall of Fame College Football Partner page or not. Hey, it's time to get ready. Go to the Hall of Fame College Football Partner store, hofmedia.us/fanatics. Look, we don't get a bunch of money off of this